He's on silent.
Welcome back to whatever the hell this hot mess is. Previously, our heroes made their way across the unhospitable northern lands of Krace and ended up at the manor of the Kulikova sisters, the eldest of which is set to be married to the Jarl, and is not the most happy about it. Characters have agreed to stay, at least for a few days, resting up, preparing to journey with the sisters to the capital, before making their own way further north to look for their home. Anything I missed?
I got a great axe.
You got an orcish great axe.
I'm
Yes.
very excited about getting my orc great axe.
And I get to learn a new thing.
My Yeti coat.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Yeti coat,
you
which
can
has
go.
now been tanned and preserved. We just need to find a tailor to make it.
I will actually give your orcish axe the same kind of racial thing that some magic items get, and that it is of orcish make. So that can help or hurt you in orcish interaction, depending.
I will look at it.
Yeah, might depend on the different, which different group you come across, whether or not they
Different
respect,
clans and stuff.
whether or not they respect you for being
Is it-
able to acquire one, or if they,
Is
hate.
it marked what clan it came from?
The axe itself, no.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that how much that mattered.
No, it is basically it looks like the blade was not actually made by the orcs themselves, but the rest of it was. The blade was attached to bone with leather wrappings and other adornments. There are plenty of etches on it that look like a kill counter of some sort, but you have no real way of gauging what he was killing to get credit for that.
You just want to put it on the counter there, just to get off the table.
We'll say we are missing Leah. It was Frecky. If she is going to be involved, she will be run by Brandon.
Cool.
But I'm going to kind of try and twist things a little bit, so it'll be more focused on everyone else, and Frecky can kind of be set aside a little bit until Leah can join us again in probably 2 more weeks.
She'll be doing ceremonial duties and
Indeed.
marriage counseling.
Free marriage counseling.
That's
Premarital counseling.
actually premarital counseling is a big deal in some cultures.
Yeah. Not commonly in this one, but this specific circumstance might.
Hey, we're
Need it.
building the culture as we go.
Yes.
I'm fitting in with this aesthetic very well. This northern aesthetic, I'm adapting like that. Got myself an orc great axe. I'm wearing a Yeti. I'm doing good.
So what's going to happen for this is Anastasia is going to offer to Vanessa while you guys stay here to kind of help you accumulate to the Arctic climate. She understands, like she can tell that you're also a ranger, but you're more familiar with grasslands, forests, which there are forests here, but this is not your terrain.
The song dealt with the ice giants before you were trained.
I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
And for everyone, and this is going to be what Vanessa's doing, even though it's only going to be a period of 3 days, I am going to offer everyone a work week of downtime that you can use. Vanessa.
Yep.
Your downtime is spent doing this.
Yes, I figured as much.
And while Anastasia is more interested in being around her sister and helping her, she is taking a bit of time each day, taking you out into the woods, where she basically introduces you to a little nest of frost sprites.
Aww.
Little blue-skinned Tinkerbell-ish
Aw.
creatures.
They're friendly, right?
They're very friendly.
Aw. Can we keep one?
No, they are sentient.
Oh. Do you want to be my friend forever and ever and ever?
That's kind of
Next thing you know, I rolled the dice, got a natural 20. Guess what? We got a new member. He just hangs out.
The sprites are friendly, but they are kind of a little warrior fae. They're kind of caretakers of the land.
I'm imagining Baby Groot. That's what I'm imagining
No,
right now. Oh, okay. I was imagining like the size of Baby Groot. He's like,
No, they look like tiny little elves,
Oh, okay.
except for with dragonfly wings. Except for these, their wings are like coated in this fine layer of frost. Their skin is blue. Their hair tends toward whitish.
Don't they look an awful lot like the what are they called? Nixies in Willow?
Brownies.
Brownies. Yes, the brownies.
Did they fly? I didn't think they could fly.
Actually, I think you're right. I think they were just really
they
small.
were just really
people.
small, but they were brownies.
Yes,
Kind of that, but flying.
but fine.
So
Brownies with dragonfly.
she kind of lets them deal with your initiation into the Arctic.
nice.
Which for this, to kind of make it go, I will need you to roll a survival check.
19.
18, okay. I will note for those listening, everyone here this week did homework, which means they will have an extra point of inspiration each. So everyone has 2 in this session.
I love it.
And Kaci specifically has 3 because she randomly decided to send me pizza. And I am a GM who accepts bribes.
I believe that should be the right of all GMs.
It is.
I
I feel like it was more like a feast.
I remember.
Oh, it was.
I remember that time we gave you a whole bag of Reese's for a level.
Yeah, that was a joke.
And that was also in a game of Anima, in which a level
high level anime.
was a really big deal.
We were playing with, Shelby and myself with a different group that we game with, once a month game, who have adamantly told me that they will never do a podcast game. That was interesting.
All right.
Yeah, it was very, very, So I'm going to not name them for that purpose. And they just leveled up at Anima, and one of them had a bag of full-size Reese's, and I asked them to pass me one, and one of them joked that, they'd give it to me for a level, and I was like, give me the whole bag, sure, and then they threw the bag at me. So they kind of caught me, and I didn't actually expect them to do that.
Free culture bluff.
And then 2 weeks later, another one of the players in that group got me one of those like 5-pound Reese's.
Oh yeah, the giant super cups.
And I'm like, what do you want? I'm already fat. Jesus Christ.
Why you do this?
Why?
It took me. What was it? I had to throw most of it out. Actually.
Oh damn.
Is there a PDF online for different alchemical items that you can make? I feel like that was part of Unearthed Arcana.
I don't remember, but a lot of it is if you have an idea for something, let me know, and we can kind of work it out.
Kaboom.
Kaboom boom?
Kaboom
Want a
boom.
bomb?
I want to make kaboom booms.
Okay.
Bada bing,
Also, I
bada
need
boom.
access to an alchemist kit.
They do have one here. They have an alchemy lab,
Oh, okay.
which you can use. It's not yours, but you can use it.
Right.
I can see about that poison thing that
First off,
we can't have, but we can't have.
Vanessa, at the end of the 3 days, you receive the Charm of Northern Lore. Note that a charm is not a physical object. It is basically a magical blessing that you are given.
Charm of what?
Northern Lore.
Okay. Right there. I'll write it in multiple places.
What that is going to mean is until you step foot outside of the Northern Realms, your natural explorer, you also have Arctic for that.
Okay. Awesome.
Eventually, when you get another one from that class ability, if you want to take Arctic, obviously that just means you get to keep it forever. But this is until you leave the north, you have it.
That's my new favorite.
And I'm doing this because
If
she
I
didn't
would've
know the
known.
terrain that they were going to be in when she built the character. So this is
So I just picked a random terrain and go,
this is me being nice.
we'll do grasslands. That feels like we'll hit that
I
once in a
I
while.
tend to challenge them enough. I can be nice sometimes.
And then he was like, I was like, hopefully we'll get out of this Arctic soon. And then he was like,
Not for a little bit.
Kind of the setting for the first arc of the campaign.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's
I'm
see.
trying
You
to
want
remember.
Bobos.
Yeah. I found a Reddit post that is somebody's guide to alchemy and herbalism for 5e, and I'm trying to dig into that, but for some reason,
I'll send that to me at some point. I'll look at it.
yeah.
You. What the damage? There's that.
I guess it's probably good that I
Sure,
can't
too.
acquire an alchemy kit at this point, though, because that would be
Oh,
like
there you
too
go.
heavy for me to actually carry over the wilderness.
Probably.
They will let
Okay.
you. They'll let you kind of use their stuff for right now, because they don't really care.
I mean, I'll pay for the supplies. I've got some gold. Not a lot, but...
To make a bomb, which the bombs are actually decent in this game,
Oh, yeah?
would require components of 75 gold.
Yeah,
according to the
never mind.
I think that's a little bit high, so I'll probably be playing around with that.
Yeah, because you can make bombs of different sizes and shapes
Yeah.
and colors.
Is this the whole thing? I wouldn't exactly call it a bomb. I would call it a bomb. This is just to trigger the thermals upstairs. Those are bombs.
Okay. So actually, I'll actually use this, even though it's considered under modern. Go ahead and make. What kind of bomb would you like?
I hadn't gotten that specific
Would you
yet.
Would you like a? Basically, imagine like it breaks on impact and goes boom. A pull pin goes boom, or a light a thing, throw it, and wait for it to go boom.
I think that the throw a thing and it explodes on impact would probably be the most useful. Because I'm like, okay, they're clustered over there. Time to hawk a grenade.
Yeah.
And I don't expect any of them will actually function with sneak attack. Even though it would be freaking dope if they did.
I will say the pull pin is actually going to be the most difficult to make. The brakes on impact will be the mid range, and the you light it is the easiest.
The Molotov, basically. Or no.
Or the dynamite.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's the easiest to make. Here's another question. Would there be hazards in carrying these on my person? Because it would make sense if we were being realistic.
If you got hit with a fire AoE, yes.
Okay.
You are also a rogue.
Yes.
Meaning, eventually evasion's going to be high.
Okay.
I think he was also asking about the ones that you throw
I'm
and they explode.
Like the pull the pin, the fire AoE might not be.
no pull pins are safe.
Yeah.
The ones that can shatter, I would kind of play that by ear.
Gotcha.
With like if you like fell like a great distance or something. But generally, no, I don't really want to make you worry about that because I don't want you to be afraid to use these or have these. But like, a big enough thing, sure.
Since you're a rogue, can you see any shady places in this place where you can get me a potion or a poison kit so we can?
In the manor that's out in the middle of nowhere.
We're in a house right now.
Yeah. In the city, maybe.
Once we get to
In the city, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
Or
not
rather,
here.
I have a guy who's my guy, so I'm your guy by association.
You're planning on going to the city as soon as this little training thingy is done.
I know there's some shady people.
Or rather, like, I don't know how that how that background feature would work. If, like, because it says you have a criminal contact.
I also say you can find people.
Yeah, because it's like, you have a dude, whereas others are like, you have an entire order who will let you stay in their house for free.
Yeah, you still have one guy who is your main guy, but that's going to be in your home city.
Right, but the fact that I like know
but
thieves
you can find stuff.
Cool. So yeah, I'm your guy because I'm people who know.
So what would you like to make?
Pull pins sound like fun.
Pull pins? Okay. You have 3 days. I will say you could potentially. I'm probably being much nicer than this than I should be, but I don't care. We'll say 1 a day.
And how much does it cost me in gold, or are they charging me for the supplies?
They're not worried. They're kind of interested in what you're doing.
Dope. Should I go ahead and roll for the days, or?
Yeah, you're gonna have to roll for each day. The handyman Polrut is kind of watching this whole time and kind of taking notes. Because he might have use for this himself at some point, because they do live in the Arctic.
Yeah, and sometimes have to deal with bands of marauding orc.
Bears.
And
Really
bears.
big ones.
And Jarls nobody likes.
And kind of asshole Jarls.
Bear girls.
Oh, orc bear girls.
Exactly.
Alright, so the orc is gonna be
21
where?
on the first day.
21? Okay, you definitely made that one.
Awesome.
Go ahead and roll for the others.
A 12 on day 2.
It is made.
Okay.
I don't like the way you said that.
It's that one might be a little fun.
I've bought grenades in your campaigns before. I don't like where this is going.
It's gonna be 1 less damage die. That's all it is.
Okay, because the other one ended
I
up
was
being...
I was waiting for the Russian mafia to show up.
That's Shadowrun.
the freaking Vori just up here.
Dos Badania, motherfucker.
Because in my games they always use RPGs.
Yeah, they do.
And the other one was a 10.
Okay.
They're very painful.
So those two are gonna be slightly weaker.
Okay.
Can
Can I tell, or do I assume that they're all the same?
you can tell they're not as potent.
Okay.
I'll give you that. If you roll 10 is the base difficulty for weak grenades.
Mm-hmm.
15 is what you need for good ones.
I can dig this system.
20 would get you maybe something special.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so a
Special grenades.
base grenade. A creature within 20 feet of the exploding grenade must make a DC 15
Do we have index cards handy?
Dex saving
No.
throw.
He does.
They're mindless. But
That's fine. I'm basically just gonna
Sorry.
like.
Oh, I also found during
Can I
mine.
get
I'm
3?
not sure exactly where they ended up.
So 2
but
more.
I did find a couple more packs of note cards, so I still have some note cards.
We now also have tons of scratch paper.
Oh, yeah, because I also found a bunch of notebooks that I've never used.
Don't you love that?
Yeah.
Okay, so base is a 20-foot radius.
20
Blast.
foot radius, DC 15 Dex save. 5d6 piercing on a failed save, half as much damage on a successful one. That's for the main grenade.
And then how do I determine how far I can throw?
60
this thing?
feet.
60 feet.
The other two are both DC 12 and only going to do 3d6.
Okay.
And those are going to be the DC 10 grenades you can make. Grenade, bomb, thingies.
Bomb?
They're very much similar to kind of how the alchemists would do it in Pathfinder, where you're kind of like the last minute. It's not really a pull pin; it's mix a thing and then chuck.
And then chuck it because it's inert otherwise.
Yeah.
I really want to figure out a way to make bomb bombs, like from Mario. The windy.
You wind it up and it walks and it's on a timer.
That would be a combination of like alchemy and tinkering.
I want to make a gnome that makes this.
I was actually thinking
Well-
of adding in a bottle gnome for magic here.
Nice.
You know, I feel like this whole time while I
Figure
was
they'd
out,
exist on Mechanus.
Yeah.
these 3 days while I'm out learning the terrain,
Oh, man.
Rainbow is just hanging out where it's warm, in like the sauna area.
Dude,
Where the shower is. She's just like, oh yeah.
I just determined that
Warmth, you know?
that Mechanus is basically Esper.
Yeah.
And now I suddenly love that, and I need to have more of it in
Okay,
my life.
so that's your thing. You're experimenting and you're making boom booms.
I made some boom
I'm
booms,
trying
and
to
I'm
remember what all
happy
you can
with
do.
them.
I know there's make stuff. There's religious services. There's carousing.
There is
How much carousing can I do in this manner?
a little bit.
I think there's also learn an instrument, learn a language.
Those take a lot of
Oh,
time.
Oh, yeah.
I
But
could
you can
start.
start it.
Yeah.
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 Is the blast and the weak grenades the same? It just has less
Yeah,
damage.
you
and
can
a
start
lower
to learn a craft too.
You can start to learn a craft, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how my bard learned leatherworking in the last game. But she didn't start with it.
All right.
Mm-mm.
Example of activities. Let's see. Buying magic items you really can't do. They don't have a merchant here.
Yeah, it's fine.
Crafting an item. Aside from simple items, there's not a lot of time for it. You could do crime if you really wanted to.
I'm not doing crime. The paladin is not doing crime.
Gambling and pit fighting would basically be with the guards, which they would have some of that. There's relaxation, religious service, research, scribing spells. Can't really sell magic items. And those are the examples. Obviously, you could do whatever you want to do, but
I mean, I can spar some guards.
Yeah.
I can spar with some guards.
For coin.
You want to? I don't know what you're planning to do.
I don't know. I think if you're sparring some guards, I'm probably also sparring some guards.
I
Oh,
determined,
okay.
I determined that I can keep checking my bomb bag on the back of my sheet, so I don't actually need those.
I'm just gonna keep them because we'll probably need them a second.
Cool. I thought about like keeping track of them the same way my other expendables.
I like your pimp.
Oh yeah, Pimp Lainath.
Yeah.
With the
It's-
Yeti.
It's me
Face.
acclimating to the
That
northern
should
culture.
definitely go
Alright.
on if we make like a page or something.
pit fighting.
Well-
Facebook page or something like that. That should definitely go on there.
Before we publish this stuff, I'd like to have like custom artwork for the stuff that we're posting, rather than what we're doing right now, which is just swiping art off of the net because it's just shared among the table.
Mhm.
But we'll see what happens.
I was gonna say that's gonna be up to the artists.
I know. But I don't
Well,
think I don't know how
Fly my hair back. Well, Josh.
I don't know how kosher
I
it
know.
is
I'm pretty good at drawing.
to share
I mean,
like
everyone can.
No,
That's what I'm saying.
It was joking. It was more of
I am-
like I'm the best artist
No,
at the
we-
table.
I am a shitty
the
artist.
sheets that we made look dope, but they're definitely using art that we didn't ask permission for because
Oh
we
yeah,
just
sure.
like
shared
we
it.
can't use their art on like any
Yeah.
public things.
But like
For
all
sure.
the layout stuff I did is gonna be fine
All right, so
because I'd like to be able to share those handouts with the public because I'm pretty proud of the way that turned out.
generating the random DCs for the different tests. Okay. So, pit fighting.
Yeah. I'm all about this.
It requires 1 more week of effort, which is fine. How this works is you make a series of checks with a DC determined on a random basis, because obviously your opponents, you have no idea, unless you know them. The
I don't know how
character
tough
makes
these guards are.
3 checks. Strength Athletics, Dex Acrobatics, and a special Constitution check that has a bonus equal to the roll of the character's largest hit die. I.e., if you have a D10, Paladin, you would get a bonus of 10 to that roll.
Oh, cool. Oh, show me an Dex 3. I mean, what were his stats?
This, oh no, you actually just, wait, what?
Do you just roll the d10?
A special Constitution check that has a bonus equal to a roll of the character's largest hit die. So you would roll a D10, add that to your con, and then roll that. So it's
Just
almost-
to represent how hardy you are and how well you can
Mhm.
survive.
Taking the hits.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and
Never seen those either.
I'm gonna wear them out by just getting hit a lot.
That is a technique in boxing, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a legit strategy.
okay.
I'm just gonna let him hit me.
I would like the 2 of you doing pit fighting. First, roll just a D20 die, each of you.
15.
And that one.
Okay.
Okay. Starting strong.
So you guys,
You're sharking them. That's what
you guys
this
get to
is.
choose. Let's see. What are the guards? I know I made the guards.
You're like, oh, I
Um,
only fight a little bit
Arden,
on my off time.
There's Arden, who's kind of the head guard. Till, who's this quick, kind of scrappy-looking guy, and then Zavar, who is a brick shit house. And they'll go for whoever. They're like, yeah, that sounds fun.
I'm torn between a head guard and brick shit house. 'Cause I know I'm probably gonna have problems with scrappy little fuck. But maybe I should fight the scrappy little fuck because I know I have problems with him.
And this is no armor, practice weapons.
Right.
But they do say like it is full contact with these practice weapons.
Okay.
We've had the weapons, not the people.
It's not padding, it's sticks.
Okay, also pad the people. You get that really uncomfortable looking black watch armor.
The metal rod's padded with wood.
I'll take Arden.
All right. So you take the head. You're asking for the head guard. How about you?
Zavar.
Zavar.
You take the brick shit house.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I'll do.
Okay.
Scrappy little fucker's like, oh. Everybody's just scared to fight me.
Fred, scrap it.
You'll get your turn.
All right. Who wants to go first? Also, bets.
Oh shit, we betting?
They will.
Place your bets.
Oh, I don't have a whole lot of money.
What are they betting?
Yeah.
They're kind of creating a pot, which is what's going to be their result. But they are asking that you guys put in something. They're asking you guys to put in 10 silver.
That's a gold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. One gold.
Yeah.
I'll toss a gold.
I'll toss a gold.
I'll toss in a gold.
Who are you betting on?
Yes, Silas. Who are you betting on?
Spoiler alert, he's betting on the scrappy fucker.
Who's not going to fight?
Yeah. He's
Yes.
gonna lose. Can't lose if you don't fight.
So
I thought you were just asking for bets. I didn't know you had to fight for bets.
no, you don't. You don't. You can put something down.
So who's competing
But
right now? I just heard that there was gambling and threw in a coin.
It's
Like,
basically
catch me up.
Basically, for you, just throwing in, you pick who's going to win, and if you succeed, you get double. If you lose, you obviously lost your money.
Okay.
For these guys, it's actually the money you get will depend on how many successes you get.
Okay.
I'm kind of modifying the pit fighting here because it's not a full pit fighting thing.
Over.
So, who wants to fight first?
I'll go.
All right.
Sparta's staring at me, so I'm assuming that means I should go.
All right. So first, I need you to make a strength athletics check.
Natural 20, which nets out at 23.
All right. You definitely succeed. Strength athletics check. The fight, you start out really strong on this fight. Didn't quite catch him off guard, but you get in a really solid hit at first that kind of staggers him a bit, which allows you to get in a few more. Next is a Dex Acrobatics.
14.
He manages to kind of find his stride, however, and get you a few solid shots into the ribs.
Oh, I knew that'd be not my best.
And finally, roll your hit die. And now roll a con check with a bonus of 1.
Of course I would roll a fucking 1 on my goddamn hit die. Oh, 21.
As it's a rough go, and you are going to be feeling that for a couple of days. But you managed to pull ahead at the end.
Yes.
It was a good fight, though.
That was a good fight. That's what I wanted. I wanted a good fight.
The pot that you will receive for your victory is 100 silver.
Oh, sweet. 100 silver. Just add another one there. No.
Yes. Okay. Dang. Don't be a dick. I guess I should actually change the music. Well, let's go.
You never did say who you bet on.
He just told me.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to offend anybody.
Damn. Well, I'm not fighting her. He's gonna have to.
I thought we were like out of the 4 people I was supposed to pick one champion. Is that how that
I'm
was
busy.
supposed
What you can.
to work? Okay. Well, I guess I misunderstood.
Sorry.
So the moral story is he didn't bet on either one of us. He bet on one of the other 2 people that we were fighting.
That's actually true.
So
I'm wilderness
Lynn.
scene, so I'm spending my
Yes.
day doing that. So that's
You're
why.
going to fight Zavar.
Yeah.
It's gigantic brute. Human, but just massive. This guy looks like he could give Goliath a run for their money.
So they just hired Andre the Giant to like.
Kinda, yeah. Except for he can actually lift what he looks like he can lift.
So they hired Michael Clark Duncan.
Andre was so massive.
Oh, yeah, Andre was massive, but he was also.
He's also very,
Yeah.
very sad. All right, first check is a strength athletics.
Strength athletics. 19.
We have a clash in the first.
Yeah.
As after some initial blows, you just end up kind of just locked with each other.
Yeah.
It just kind of resulted more on grappling, and boxing than it has in the weapon fighting. You've both kind of gotten in too close and just ended up locked. So next will be a Dex Acrobatics check to see who can actually win this lock.
This is exciting.
Kick his ass, Lynn!
Dex Acrobatics, you say 9.
He
Let
manages
go!
to toss you.
Dang it.
You end up on the ground. He tries to pin you down. You manage to roll away. Final check.
You got this!
Roll your hit die.
5.
So you get to add a bonus of 5 to a Constitution check.
29.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. As you manage to roll away, get hold of your weapon again, come up with this big swing of the wooden haft, and crack him right under the jaw, sending him down. Everyone applauds as they did not expect you to take down Svarin like that. The applause quickly died down, though, as Svarin's not moving.
Oh, no.
I've got to get back to my mixtures. I've got a grenade that's cooking.
I'm gonna go.
Wait.
I'm gonna go check him.
One failed death save.
I can.
Yeah, do the thing.
Boop!
You rush over, lay your paladin hands on him, and restore vitality to him, as that was a freak accident.
Yeah.
It was no one's fault. That was just me rolling on the complications table, because when I checked for complications, I got one.
Uh-oh.
So that's always fun.
And then I rolled max on it, which is a near fatal wound. But they're actually pretty cool with it.
Yeah, I reached down and like give him a hand.
Once he's kind of stopped seeing quadruple, he accepts.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn.
Sorry about that.
No, I need to learn how to watch that. The uppercuts always get you.
Especially when you're tall, I imagine.
Yeah. I closed it before I actually got the reward.
Good job.
He's like, no, I want my
What
reward.
was the how tall is he?
He is near 7 foot.
Wow, he's got solid like 17 inches on that.
As you get, because the fight was a lot closer, you get 50 silver.
Okay.
You succeeded on only one. One was a tie, the other he got.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
So everyone was able to accomplish something during this little momentary break in your travels. This is not obviously all you're doing during this time. You're also free to, roam the grounds, visit the library, the study.
I'm gonna spend a lot
Talk
in
to
the
people.
hot bathing area. Enjoy the warmth while we can.
The frost sprites are telling you, no, you're not.
What?
You gotta get acclimated.
gotta-
You gotta get used to this.
Gotta adapt! Ranger, adapt!
You kind of wonder if they're being a little bit cruel for fun, but none of it is mean. They enjoy this. They're not doing anything to harm you, per se, just
So,
making your life a little hellish while you're under their...
are you doing anything for the next couple of years? How would you like to adventure with us?
We are a foot tall.
It'll be fun, man.
Don't let that stop you.
Yeah.
Don't know that. Yeah.
Like beams be dreams.
There was this wonderful person named Lay. She never let her height stop her. And the fact that she had to be carried everywhere, but she never let that let her down.
She had a strength of 5.
We have a duty here.
Understandable.
Oh, find me a shoulder cannon gnome.
It didn't hurt
Every
her.
paladin needs a shoulder cannon gnome.
The end of this little momentary break comes near dawn. As everyone is either still sleeping or getting up with the early morn. There is, say, a commotion downstairs. Not a violent one, just more activity than normal. And whenever each of you would venture down to see what the ruckus is. An envoy from Holfrost has arrived to escort the elder sister, Alyssa.
Oh.
Were we supposed to be traveling with that group? Is that
You were going to travel with the sisters.
Gotcha.
I will. If any of the servants or Anastasia or anything are nearby, I'll ask one of them if this envoy was expected.
So Anastasia, who's kind of hanging back a little bit, is like, no, it wasn't. We were not expecting any envoy. We expected to set out later today ourselves.
Strange. Do they have any official papers?
They don't really need them. As she will motion to a giant of a man, long blonde hair, full beard,
Is
and
the
point out
Jarl himself here?
that is the Jarl.
Oh! Well, yeah, I do suppose that negates the need for papers.
So do I treat this new thing as just favored terrain for now, like all the benefits?
Yeah. As while not tightly surrounded, but his envoy, his guards are near. The Jarl is currently speaking with and towering over very small-bodied Elisa.
How tall is he? Like, is he comparable to
Savar?
Yeah.
He's close to Savar's height, but not quite. Doesn't have Savar's bulk. He's not as heavily muscled, but he has an athleticism to him. Where this guy also looks like he could, unlike Savar, this guy looks like he could run. Like he has more of a runner's build than just necessarily a bodybuilder's. He currently carries no weapon aside from a short sword on his hip that looks mostly decorative. He is wearing a winter wolf pelt. The head still over, the wolf head still kind of decoratively over his left shoulder. An iron crown denoting his station. And a leather hauberk. Leather armor for those.
Should we introduce ourselves?
If he asks.
I wasn't sure if they get here.
I'll kind of walk up next to Lainath and be like, we weren't expecting this, were we? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much should I be putting on my armor right now?
Oh, I think we're about to travel, so I would definitely suggest you put your armor on.
I'll be there.
I would.
I like where your head is at. I was just curious about the subtext. And turn around.
Okay.
Start putting on my.
As people get equipped and gather their possessions, as yes, it does. You are about to travel.
Yeah.
Frecky is being allowed to travel with the Jarl and Elisa, but they are the only ones. The others are allowed to follow on their own, of course, which Anastasia is definitely planning on
I
doing.
was gonna say, they aren't even letting Anastasia come with them in their own way?
Not on that one.
Damn.
Room in the sled. Yeah.
I'm sure she's thinking, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
she's-
sure.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to make anyone roll insight to tell how unhappy she is with this situation.
Yeah, she was never good at hiding her feelings.
Well, at least we'll have an easier way to travel now.
The Jarl is going to allow her to also she'll bring along one other, a servant. As he assumes Anastasia can make her own way. But she doesn't outright say, but you can get the sense of it. And all this is what you're more hearing as they're holding their talks a bit more privately. So, Alyssa will take Zarin, the butler, along with her. Whereas Anastasia immediately gets Holrut and the guards to prep her own sled. and telling them to use the big one because she's expecting you guys to come along.
Yeah.
So you were kind of fed all this information, and by the time all of you are assumingly ready to depart, the Jarl's sled with his envoy of guards and such are already leaving. However, Anastasia's sled is prepared.
This was the next morning, you said.
Yes, everyone is full. You've had plenty of time to rest.
Had my lay on hands marked off. Give that back to the self.
Did you post a picture of Lainath somewhere? I swear I've
Yes.
seen a picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the group.
Just scrolled through the whole group and I didn't see it.
It's on the Facebook.
Oh, it's on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha. It's been a while since I've even checked the page.
Yeah, we just use the messenger.
I put it there specifically so it'd be easier to find.
Mm-hmm. Which is, I don't know.
You mention it a lot. Like, hey, don't forget there's that Facebook page. What Facebook page?
So, Anastasia, the maid Nida, Kimiri, the gnome, Holrut, the dwarven handyman, the guards, Ardentil and Zavar, as well as Shineheart, the dragon, all load up into the sled. Oh yeah, he's not letting Big Sissy do this without him.
This is true.
And there's room in the sled for some of you to sit. Others will be on hanging on from the sides, which is there's holds and such for you to do just that. This is a larger, basically a family-sized sled. Multiple reindeer are hitched up front, which are what will be pulling. Unless there's anything anyone wants to do before setting off.
Yeah, Snake's got her. Rainbow's got her little
Get her sock.
winter gear.
Get her
I
stocking.
just want to make sure that we have all of our water skins and things filled before we.
I just
Yeah.
want to imagine
Before
that
we
there's
go.
Everyone
little earmuffs.
has your water skins filled.
Yeah.
I just want to imagine her wearing earmuffs.
If
I don't
anyone
know
has
why.
less than 5 rations, you will be equipped up to 5.
I have 8 still.
Well, I just said
You
you did.
did really good with the
I have
hunting.
7.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone should be okay.
Yeah, I have exactly 5.
There's supposed to be no delay on that music, but apparently there's a long one. As you guys set off, the journey to Holfrost is not long. It only takes about 3 hours via sled.
Nice.
Yeah, it's on the outskirts of the city.
Yeah, we were almost there.
Forgot
Glad we
how
got a
close we
place
were.
to stay though.
Yeah.
For a while.
Holfrost.
Rest up.
Is a walled city that is kind of nestled up against a large ridge. Not quite a mountain, but this large stone cliff. So its entire northern side is just completely cut off. It cannot be approached from the north. As you approach, you do see within the walls, what you're guessing is near the back, there is kind of this raised area on which sits the Jarl's Palace, also surrounded by a smaller gate or wall, as this is a fortress city.
So it's a gate within a gate within a gate.
There's a wall within a wall.
Is it a much colder Minas Tirith?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Just nowhere near as big or as elaborate.
Right, yeah.
It would actually be closer to Rohan.
Okay.
Just
like the baby.
Yeah, just winter.
Okay.
Just wintry Rohan. Given her status, Anastasia has no problem actually getting into the city. The guards aren't really checking. They know who she is, and they just saw her sister pass through probably not even an hour before. As you come to the entry pass of Holfrost and are now within the city. This is where Anastasia would let all of you out, and she would tell you that
coffee maker turn off,
Mm.
probably.
Probably.
Because I went ahead and turned it on to reheat the coffee. So
Gotcha.
there's hot coffee if you guys want any.
Anastasia is going to go on to the Jarl's Palace, basically to stay close to her sister. But she doesn't know how much leeway she's going to be able to give you guys unless she claims you as servants.
And then
I'm noble.
You might be able to talk your way in, if you would so choose.
Wink.
She,
You have a noble background.
I do have a noble background.
yes. But she
Might as well
and her
flash
house
that.
staff are going to go on ahead. If you need her, she basically says you may send word. But otherwise, she hopes you find whatever it is you're looking for.
Mhm.
And the sled pulls off, heading further north into the city, leaving you just inside the front gate.
Well, this is super awkward.
how so?
I feel really bad about this situation, but I don't know if
There's nothing really in our power we can
Can
do about
do.
it. But
Should
it
we-
does not sit right with me either. Especially him showing up unexpectedly to escort her himself.
To claim his pride.
Can I look
seems
for
very skippy.
another way to get into the city? Use my roguish qualities to
You are in the city, but would you like your inside
follow
one?
them.
Oh, to get into the Jarl's Palace?
Yeah, if we want, I mean, I could maybe do some scouting later. If we're indeed curious about that.
I would like to maybe make an insight check to kind of discern a little bit more about his motivation for arriving. All of a sudden, was it just kind of like a power play, or
Him coming himself.
or
Mhm.
did he find out that like we were there,
Okay.
and so he like what
I'll
was
say you didn't. It seems you were almost purposely not given any opportunity to really converse with them.
yeah.
So I will say this is going to be made at disadvantage. But yeah,
Ah, damn it!
You rolled really high too.
No, I got a nat 20 into a modified 20.
that's still good.
Yeah.
Especially because technically nat 20s don't actually mean anything for skills.
Okay.
But it's actually only attack rolls. I still usually try and give something special for it, but that's house rule.
Right.
It really is odd that he would do this, especially with no forewarning. You think it might actually have something to do, not necessarily with you guys,
Right.
but with Frecky's arrival. Especially because Frecky has been talking with Alyssa regularly, and not necessarily trying to convince her not to marry the Jarl, but trying to get out of her.
Are you sure this is the right thing for you?
Is this really what you want?
Yeah.
So it might have something to do with that, but then how would he have known?
My guess would be that he is paying somebody on the house staff to kind of report back to him about the goings on, to make sure that she doesn't skip out on the wedding.
Doesn't get cold feet.
Oh my god.
I see what you did there.
Mm.
And,
I'm so proud of you.
yes.
Not a sponsor.
Not
he
sponsored.
yells M&M's and I go, not a sponsor.
Yes, we have no sponsors, but we have snacks.
I was just making a joke.
We are gamers. So yeah, you definitely sense there's something out there.
Brought you by.
And more so than
Taste.
just an arranged marriage that sits crappily with Lynn. She doesn't.
Not about that?
Not about that.
Yeah. Well, we want to try to make it to the palace, or
Honest. When is the wedding?
any day now.
You were told it was going to be soon, but just from the goings on that you're getting in town, just kind of talking to people asking about it, it does sound like the wedding is still going to be a little ways off.
Okay.
Recent hostilities with the orcs to the north have basically made them push it back a little bit.
Yeah, I was concerned that we were going to do the opposite.
Like, we gotta do it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Partially above board because I do want Leah here for at least whenever that gets resolved. So it's getting pushed back a little bit.
Well, just on as a representative of the city of Sanctuary.
We do need to see if anyone here would have any more information. We were already given a name, if I remember correctly.
Well, I was just gonna say that we shouldn't poke around too much, just because we are, for all intents and purposes, an envoy from a foreign
I don't know.
state.
I don't know
hanging out in this place.
how much you know about
causing
the
some-
order we work for, but poking around in other people's political affairs is kind of the entire
But-
purpose.
Well, yes, but normally we have orders to do so from people that
Yes. We definitely need to be careful
just
here.
fly
I'm-
by the
You
seat
know
of our
what
pants.
really happened?
While this is happening,
Yeah.
I'm out figuring out how to poke into there first.
So you are wanting to go ahead and see if you can.
Yes.
Somewhere there was a whisper in the wind. I can
I
go.
would like you to roll investigate.
You know what I mean?
Because I have every faith that Lainath will be doing what the team needs and trying to find the city.
Okay.
That's his goal, yeah.
I would like you to roll investigation.
So my goal is to try to figure out how to help the team
I'm serious. That's right.
complete the objective that they all want to complete anyway, but they won't all necessarily admit to
But we're all a little too lawful to really.
it. Exactly. Oh, that's right. He's
Actually, I'm really not.
What are you?
Yeah, good.
Oh, you're chaotic.
I'm
then.
chaotic good too.
Okay.
Oh no!
I'm a little too lawful.
The leader is a little too lawful.
We're all chaotic on this side of the table.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
normally chaotic.
I usually play law, and I'm like, I'm gonna go chaos this time.
Yeah, I like
This is
chaotic.
why I tend to leave neutral good, because that way I can just be the nice little, like, yeah, either way.
Well, like,
Whichever's better.
neutral was where I leaned until I discovered how much I love paladins.
I mean, yeah, but now you can be a neutral good paladin.
That's true.
But I went with chaotic because
Investigation,
her
you say?
father.
Yes. Oh no, that
Um,
just makes sense.
11.
11?
No, sorry, 14. 14.
Okay,
It was a
14.
9,
Chaotic,
not a 6.
chaotic would
You
really,
find-
really fit what's going on.
Your sheet said lawful neutral.
You find to actually go up to the outer wall of the Jarl's Palace, there's actually two ramps, one on the eastern side, one on the western side. Obviously, those are watched regularly. There are 2 guards stationed at the base of each, pretty much at all times, but they're not there to refuse people entry. They're there to watch and see who's actually coming to the Jarl's Palace.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the actual cliff itself to get up there would itself be climbable for someone who knows how to climb.
Right.
But there
Which
are
is athletics, right?
yes, but there are also guard towers. So
Mm.
unless done under the cover of darkness and with other considerations applied, you would probably be spotted and shot.
Did you climb the guard tower?
The guard towers are actually up top.
Oh, okay.
The Assassin's Creed up to the guard
Pretty
tower.
I hope he hurts himself.
That once you can actually follow the ramp up, either one, and actually see that there are a total of 4 guard towers up here outside of the wall to the Jarl's estate, and there are 2 main entrances also on eastern and western sides, though not just easily matching up to the ramps. They're both kind of dog-legged.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I mean, if there was an invasion of any kind, they'd want to be able to bottleneck them more easily.
And you kind of get the sense that the courtyard of the Jarl's Palace is designed so that if this place was ever attacked, the entire citizenry could fall back to the Jarl's Palace. But that is as far as you get, as they're not letting anyone through the gates, and at this point you did not find another way in.
Gotcha.
But you get a basic layout of the northern side of the city. So
Alright.
while he's doing that, that's going to take only about 2 hours, I would say, because you're not full sneaky. You're just kind of observing.
Mm-hmm.
What would the rest of you like to do during this time?
We had a name of someone who might know more information about the falling star, correct?
Yes,
I would like to try to figure out where that guy is.
Bezrath,
Bezra,
servant of the knowing mistress.
right? Just look for him.
We need to come up with holy symbols for each of these things.
Yes, at some point.
Because I was just about to draw one, and I'm like, nope, that's not a sword.
Make an investigation check. If your compatriots are helping, you can get advantage on that.
I'll help you.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Okay.
Is that as good as I can get?
Without any problem, you find your way to a small, privately owned library, which there is a symbol of the knowing mistress up above it.
I just like to imagine we're like, I'm milling about. I'm like, we really need to find this guy, and Lynn just like points behind me. with the
I
sign.
heard he's he's a follower of the knowing mistress, and it's like Indiana Jones, the light going through, and just like this beam of,
Yeah.
of radiance just guiding your path, like right here.
Oh. Huh. That's what happens.
Okay.
Actually, they left us. They like let us off the carriage like right by his right by his shop.
So, I assume you head inside.
Yes. Are you with us?
As you do, you
Where's
see
Silas?
Oh, I think we all know where Silas is.
there's a very old human, almost Gandalf-looking, slightly finer robes, still of the gray coloration, with plenty of adornments, kind of like the chain, kind of similar to seen in Game of Thrones, but with different meaning. Large, very crooked staff that he's leaning on, and he is currently speaking with an older-looking half-elf, wearing cloak with thick fur lining and a headdress of a stag, antlers still included. It's very clear that he is bearing the symbol of the Hearthkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like finishing up a conversation as you enter. And the older man is like, "Oh, I seem to have more guests. If you'll excuse me, Master Follett, we'll continue this another time."
Yeah.
The elf regards you as you come in, or half elf regards you and kind of nods.
Could I do like an insight to see how that conversation was going between them? Like if it was amicable or if it was heated?
You can make an insight check.
13.
Get a sense of concern from both of them, but not. It doesn't seem like it was an argument.
I just posted Vanessa's in the room without the horns, of course.
As
I don't know, I like the ones.
he
I
leaves,
know, but it's
the
kinda
old man
weird.
hobbles over. "Hello. Welcome to the House of Knowledge.
Hi.
Oh,
I'm not familiar with any of you.
No,
No.
we are.
we noobs.
Think I would remember you.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, you
Sometimes I
probably
forget
are.
all about him.
A winged tiefling.
Yes.
Hmm. Odd. So sorry. We don't have many tieflings in the northern realms. Save from Jest. But,
Oh, there's one here. Yes, I haven't seen any since we
Yeah.
arrived.
Jest runs his general goods.
I think the term is landed.
We're aliens.
Forgive an old man's rambling. How can I help you?
We believe that you might be able to help us. Do you remember several days ago there was a falling star in the sky?
The blue fire.
Yes.
Yes.
We are trying to find it. Where it landed.
You're not the only one.
Really?
Certainly not. fellow has been rambling about that ever since it happened.
Who?
A young lady came to us a day or so after its fall. Another stranger.
What can you tell me about her?
She's half elven, studious, spectacled.
Did you get a name?
Sorry, my memories. Focuses, grasping his holy symbol for a moment. This is a check really quick. Danik Finn.
Oh,
Danik.
Danik.
Yeah.
That's good. We know her.
Yes.
Do you?
Yes. Do you know where we could get a hold of her?
She's come by regularly, but I believe she's staying at the inn.
Good. That's really good to hear.
Yes.
All right. The matter at hand. The Falling Star. Would you have any way of knowing how to find it?
Oh, certainly. Having seen it pass overhead, I've been estimating its trajectory to see where it would have landed. It's a simple curiosity. If possibly a meteor, I would love the chance to study some of its potential star metals.
He sounds like a maester, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You described him as a maester.
I know, but he's getting. I'm loving it.
We're recording this now. I've got to up my game on voices.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We've been practicing for weeks.
Your voice game is
You
on.
have no idea.
Would you be willing to share any of this with us?
But certainly, knowing mistress wishes all knowledge to be shared.
Of course. Of course.
As he goes and goes over to a work table, collects a couple of maps, and you can see where he's been using math that's well above my ability. As he's been
wizarding.
he has been mathematicianing.
Ooh.
Math is just a different kind of magic.
Or
When you
rhythmic
get-
even.
When you get to a certain level of math.
Okay, arithmancy was dope.
Yeah.
I loved it.
As yes, he does have several maps that are kind of guessing impact points. Or there's kind of this like radius of like this is where it should land. Here's any possible randomness of where it could have landed
Based on
size
variables.
and other variables. And yes, from his maps, every single one of them is definitely in areas marked orc territory.
Mm-hmm. Now we have a map.
Yes.
Could we copy down what he's got onto our map?
Yes, your map does not go much farther beyond the border of Icecrest, and this is what's past that.
Okay.
But there is enough that you could jot down like, notes and kind of scribble onto it.
Did you
yes.
say he has several maps or just a map?
Yes, sir.
Can we buy one of his maps?
I could copy it for you.
I would appreciate that greatly.
That would be very useful.
Sure. Well,
This one seems to stop at this border here.
it should take me a few hours. Looking at prices does not what I thought. And no, but they're not actually going to have a price for this.
For map? They
Yeah.
might not.
They should, because it's something players always ask for.
Maps are handy.
25 cents.
Ha! I'll say a gold piece.
One gold?
Yeah. I'll
Because he's copying a map he
I can
has.
throw him a gold. I mean,
Okay.
a 100 for that thing.
Thank you.
Or 100 silver.
Yeah.
Yes, it'll take me a few hours. But
Now we should find this in.
it's the large building on the eastern side by the wall.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. What time of day is it right now?
This would be just afternoon.
Would you like us to come back this evening or tomorrow morning?
That's your leisure. I will hold it for you.
Thank you very much.
To the lodge.
All right. The lodge is called the Broken Horn.
The adjective noun. Good old classic.
As you enter in, you find it to be fairly busy. It's one of the largest buildings, it looks like, in the city. This is kind of a multi-storied longhouse. Manning the lower floor is a bar slash like kind of diner. It looks like there's lots of people kind of coming and going. They have some minstrels performing. Let's see if I can find some
If
minstrel.
Sarah
music.
was here, she would totally be like, I'm gonna dance!
She did like to
They
dance.
don't really have
Yeah.
dancers. I mean, they probably wouldn't refuse them. But ooh, friendly tavern.
She
You
probably would
guys
be a
want
dancer at this wedding to try to like sneak in. She'd totally go,
some? There we go. Turn
It
me
sounds
down.
like Kakariko Village.
Yeah, it does. It's so upbeat and I love it.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know what that is, but okay.
It's from Zelda.
I figured.
Yeah.
It sounded Zelda.
It's basically the jovial town music.
Gotcha. As yeah, there's coming and going. Most people seem in upbeat moods. And as for the wedding, like everyone can attend that. Like they want the citizenry to come.
well, yeah, it's just the spark favor. I can't even word today.
I don't suppose it would be a situation where you're like, I object.
That normally doesn't fly very well unless you have a lot of
And
substantial
they
evidence.
remove you from the place, chop off your head, and say, anyone else?
Battle axe wedding.
That depends on the political climate, but I
Behind
haven't been here long
behind the
enough to suss that
bar,
out.
Would be
pouring
surprised.
drinks, you see a young half-orc woman, fairly attractive. She has kind of a very light grayish coloration to her skin, pointed ears, little bit of a larger lower jaw, slight underbite, but not very pronounced tusks. Her face otherwise has very human features. She doesn't really have the flattened nose of
I'm
most
assuming she's
orc.
a half orc.
Yes.
Yes.
She's
She is.
long braided dark hair. Kind of the typical barmaid, look at my cleavage get up.
Oh yeah, you gotta. For them tips though.
Oh yeah. And she doesn't seem to have too much problem getting tips. And people here don't seem to have any problem with her heritage.
Does she have like lots of braids or like one big braid?
Lots of braids.
Lots of braids. Multitude of braids. I'm just curious.
You'll enter into this warm and inviting
I'm assuming I'm
atmosphere.
back with the group now.
We'll say yeah.
Okay.
You could have joined up.
As you were probably like, where would they go? Probably an inn.
The tavern.
Color animal in. Oh, it's just not adjective. Okay. We're getting relaxed with it this far north.
So, what would you like to do?
Are noun adjective ends cheaper than color animal ends?
It's basically just the Tim Hortons to the Starbucks to the south.
Okay.
Yeah. I was supposed to say, I don't know if there's really a price difference. It's just, location.
Okay.
And how you like your special.
It's a geographical thing. I approach the bartender.
Okay. And eyes you kind of warily as you kind of surprise her, but that's only a momentary thing. Welcome. What can I do for you?
I was actually looking for someone I think is staying here.
We've had plenty of visitors these last few days with the
Dinek?
coming wedding. Pardon?
Her name would have been Dinek. She's a half-elf, new to the town. Arrived approximately a day or two ago. No, 6 to 7 days ago. Is that the timeline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About a week ago.
Yes. We've had a guest of that description. Would you like to leave a message for her?
Yes, if you could let her know the troop leader has arrived.
Troop leader. She kind of does a quick little whistle,
I like troop leader.
He acclimated to that role first.
and a little
Thought it would be the easiest way for her to know that she's
young
not here by
dwarf
herself.
boy, barely any stubble on his cheeks yet, kind of runs up, and she scribbles down a quick little note, and kind of gives it to him and whispers, and he goes, kind of trotting off really quick, heading for some stairs in the back.
And if I may have a drink.
Of course.
Troop leader.
What do you have?
I mean, it's legit. Gotta
I feel like
respect
if I would have got a message like that,
Ale,
the troop leader was
wine,
talking to you, I'd be giggling right
Mead.
now.
Mead.
I would like some wine.
Well,
I want to go classy.
you can have one.
You tell me meat isn't classy.
I was ordering only my own drink. You can
No, I
order
know.
your
That's what I
whatever
said.
drinks
I think
you
I'll go
please.
with wine. I was just looking at you. I'm going classy.
Four copper
Okay.
for you, 5 for you.
Oh, is it grape?
It's not great.
Is it Winterberry?
Elderberry.
Oh,
Ice wine, motherfucker.
I'm looking for maybe something a little stronger.
Ah. How strong are you wanting?
Whiskey!
On a scale of
On a scale of sissy to knock a giant on his ass.
how about an M?
Wow. Wow.
Would be 7 copper.
What color's my wine?
The wine is a very deep red, almost purplish.
I'll just give her a
This is
silver.
good wine, but not as good as the wine
As she
that they used to make.
sets down
Wink.
a small clay cup, pours up from this bottle, basically the equivalent of a double,
Okay.
slides it to you, and then waits.
I'm gonna.
as we all just watch Lynn.
It's like going into a Thai restaurant and asking for something spicy. No, spicy.
Good job, Nick.
While the one drink is not enough to put you on your ass, it is strong. It is potent, and it is bitter.
Is it one of them?
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of them.
Whew.
It is the kind of drink that you're thinking after that, in about 5 minutes, you may be tipsy.
Wow.
It hasn't hit you yet,
Yeah,
but it will.
it will.
You're not gonna be one of those people like, I don't feel anything yet. How about another?
Exactly.
Oh my god, that'll fuck you
Those
up.
are stupid
That
people.
will murder you.
Or inexperienced.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't drink a lot at all, and I'm pretty sure I'd be like, yeah, I'll give it a little bit.
You want to. That's why with stronger drinks, you want to drink them slow and enjoy it.
Yeah. One of them.
So you have
I
your
need
drink.
that.
You have your 3 of you have your drinks. What about you, Scrawny?
Yeah, scrawny.
Do you have coffee?
Yeah.
Do you have whiskey?
We do.
Can I have both?
I like you. Say 6 copper.
Okay.
I'll give you a discount.
I'll
Wink, wink.
She.
Wow.
As you get.
She wants your frosted tips. Wink, wink.
Can you have said that in character, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean,
Sweetie, I would break him.
there's a tip.
He could use it.
Confusing.
Yeah.
Cracking me up.
She sets your drink down after preparing it. A very short while later, from the stairs, even over the music, which apparently is just going quiet, you just hear just. And there's this scrawny little familiar half elf who just ran downstairs and quickly scans the room, locks onto you guys, and just lets out this, "Oh, thank the gods!" before making her way over.
Hey!
This would be, for those who haven't read, I don't know if everyone's read over everyone's, this would be Danik Finn, your tactician.
Thank the gods.
Yes.
We need you.
As she comes over, and whoever is closest gets a hug, as she just seems so glad to see someone that she knows.
hot. Hi.
Where in the fuck have you been?
In a snowbank.
We've been traveling for a few days to get here.
Where did you end up?
Approximately the middle of nowhere.
How did you get up here, so close to town?
I have no idea.
Did you fall out?
Fell off after us, I'm assuming.
Woke up in one of the temples. And it said I'd been out for a few days.
We've
Kind of
had a
happened
very
to us.
similar situation, but in a much smaller village.
Mm-hmm.
They said they found me out one of their patrols. Apparently I put a hole through some farmer's roof.
Bless me.
Yes. That's not
By the
surprising.
way, livestock are expensive out here.
I would imagine. Oh.
Oh.
I don't remember a thing, and I'm very glad for it.
I'm hoping sheep.
I was thinking chickens.
We woke up.
She went through a roof.
Sheep are flippier than
We woke up in a
chickens just for
temple
her sake.
and
Chickens are cheaper
saved
than sheep, I think.
saved a priest from some kobolds and
Chickens
then
have beaks and talons.
walked here over the last 10 days.
Oof. In that storm. Don't envy you that.
Wasn't pleasant.
I've been here trying to figure out what I should do and if anyone else was alive.
We're just trying to find the city.
The four of us, I know for sure. And now you, we did unfortunately find Torga's remains.
Not Torga.
She was not so lucky on her impact location.
Nobody found her. It was her, right? Okay. Nobody found her. I couldn't remember if it was a girl.
I fear that's what would happen to most.
Mm-hmm. Who knows how many more fell out of the ship and that aren't rescued.
You're the first we've found.
Everlight Watcher. Well, you found me. Well, after that,
You guys make some leads on finding the city?
Yes, we talked to the man at the Knowing Mistress's temple.
I've been working with him trying to find a way there.
He's going to copy us down a map showing where he believes it probably landed.
I mean, that's...
Well, we'll have an extra copy.
Sorry.
It's alright.
I've been helping him with those calculations.
In case
It's always good to have multiples.
in case we go our separate ways, or
In
Find
case one
others.
gets lost.
yeah.
Yeah. I think more than anything else, I think he just wanted the extra gold.
No, he didn't.
He was
Well,
commissioned.
I think.
I mean, he's not going to turn down the extra gold.
No. But
He also didn't necessarily know like the full.
He didn't know how connected you were to her.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see all of you, and well, as I said, you found me, and maybe you can figure out what's wrong with Ashna. And she's also here.
Oh,
She hasn't woken up yet.
is she at a temple?
Yes. Yes, she's at the Temple of the Hearthkeeper.
Oh. I think the priest of that temple was speaking with
Yeah.
the Knowing Mistress priest.
His name is Paladin? Is that...
I believe, yes, I think you're right. Valid. I think is what he said his name is.
I believe so. I haven't spoken with him much.
We should definitely check on that then. See if, I don't know what else we could offer, but a temple thing, but we can at least check on it.
You know, wake up! Wake up!
As
I feel like they might have tried that.
Donick will guide you out of the tavern and over to the temple, which is just kind of straight west from where you guys are. Because I do have a little map that I could discuss to give myself kind of a general sense of scale and direction. The Temple of the Hearthkeeper is a very inviting, homey sort of temple. Lots of furs and other, kind of look like a hunting lodge. Not many actual like priests. In fact, you don't really see any as you guys arrive, but there are plenty of people who come to give prayer and offering and such like that.
I feel like Frankie would like this place.
Knowledge of religion. Actually, I only got a 6. Yeah, she might.
No.
I mean, she might like the homier elements of it. It's just some of the more traditional values that are shared by these people might kind of put a bad taste in her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just kind of the way it goes between those two gods. It's like, well, you've got your heart in the right place, but the specifics are a little iffy. Each of them says to the other.
Yes.
They do get along pretty well in this. There's not quite the same level of animosity as in other settings between the two of which those gods are based on. Mostly, especially because here in the north, it's kind of just, survive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you've got room for those kind of like grievances with each other, it means you don't have many other problems. Then it kind of takes you into the back as she's been allowed in and out since she's proved that she's a friend of this person. And you guys find, come on, I can't read my own spelling. Ashna Hadrami, one of your flankers, the young dervish. Her armor has been laid aside, as well as her twin blades. She's been wrapped in several furs, though she still looks like she's chilling, despite being set close to a hearth and kept warm.
She was always cold-natured.
Would it be knowledge, arcana, or medicine to know what's causing her to
It would be a medicine.
6.
You have no idea. She's taking a nap, is all it looks like.
You know, I'm just gonna try it.
Okay.
Just because I don't know if they. I know they have a priest.
Mhm.
I don't know what else they have here, but I'll go ahead and spend 5 points of lay on hands to try to cure any disease that might be affecting her.
You lay your hand on her forehead. She just feels cold and clammy to the touch. You send your divine energy into her, and her body doesn't quite go rigid. It kind of takes in a sharp breath for a moment, but then relaxes as the energy washes through her. It doesn't seem to have any great effect.
This was a shock.
And how long has she been like this?
I'm not entirely sure. I just happened to hear some people talking about it a few days ago, about the girl that they'd found who won't wake up.
I would like to kind of just take a look at her. Just kind of look at her eyes.
Okay.
Does she look like she's dreaming?
No.
Okay.
Her eyes are dilating weirdly.
They're open.
Well, when you actually open.
Oh, I meant. I'm
Oh,
not,
you're just
not-
looking to see.
I'm
Sorry.
looking to see if her eyes
Just
are
to
moving
see if
like
she's in rapid eye movement.
like if
No,
she's.
okay.
If she's
Yeah, I'm
dreaming.
sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
But no, it does not. Her eyes are pretty still. But because I already kind of spoiled that,
Yeah.
I will say like
Maybe when she was doing her medicine check.
Donick would, or yeah,
Would have like opened up her eyes.
open her eyes. Like you're actually seeing her eyes are going. They're very wide
Yeah.
normally, just completely dilated. But then they'll just kind of shudder and become more close to like cat-like, and then shift, but not a full slit, but just
Right.
more ovular.
And it is kind of weird because she would almost bizarrely frequently be wearing her mask beforehand, and I'm sure at this point that's been tossed aside with her armor.
Yeah, she's basically just in wrappings and furs right now to keep warm because she's been chilling, and they're just trying to keep her from getting any worse. The priests have tried everything short of a high tier magics.
Now,
Appropriate music.
when somebody is actually in a coma, like,
You would need something akin to like greater restoration.
so you would need the higher tier magic.
Yeah.
Basically, all of the information that we have is indicating that she's in a coma.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, she came falling out of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Took us forever to wake up too, and eventually we did.
Yeah. You see no sign of injury on her, but that could also just be they've given her healing.
Yeah.
What we might want to do is track down Frecky at some point and find out, because she had treated us before she'd gone off to get more supplies.
Yes.
She might have treated us with something specific that
That aided in waking us up.
exactly.
Mhm.
So that might be something that she could use to.
I mean, at the very least, she can tell it. We're in a similar state.
Mm-hmm.
Or if this is any different. Yeah. Hmm.
Aside from this, though, I've been getting more and more worried. Apparently, the orcs in the north have been acting differently.
Grouping.
That too. But I'm talking just in the past few days.
I mean, having a city fall out of the sky and land in your territory would do something like that, I assume.
That's what I mean. They've pulled back from the borders a bit more, though they still have the occasional raid.
We're worried about the same thing.
On a sadly reassuring note, it's at least my understanding that even if the city in its current state, there might still be some magical protection for the people left inside.
Certainly.
Just hopefully the city's crash was survivable for me.
I
want to stop talking there.
My issue is I've never known the city's barrier to be able to prevent someone from walking in.
Yeah.
It's not meant to stop that.
Yeah.
And apparently everyone here talks about this orc chief as if he's some kind of demigod or something.
Go on. We haven't heard much about him.
I haven't heard any great details, but people around here talk about him with this combination of respect and fear. Not just some raider or mindless warlord, but someone who actually deserves respect and, well, people should be absolutely terrified of.
Mm.
A tactician. And she gets out a little notebook and just apparently Drundomar Thousand Spear is what they're calling him.
That's quite the name.
That name sounds really familiar.
Kobold Mini Arrow.
Drundomar?
Drundomar.
Somebody specifically referenced his name earlier in the campaign. I can't remember who it was.
Anastasia.
Yes.
Anastasia mentioned Drundomar being the leader of the order.
Drundomar Thousand Spear.
But she didn't have like a lot of detail.
Mm-hmm. I don't exactly have the coin to mount an expedition northward, but, I mean, now that you guys are here, I don't need to just hire random people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, am I grateful for that.
You're here.
Yeah, now we're the ones that are the suckers. I mean,
Maybe
you
you
know,
could,
because he's not gonna go now.
Huh?
So he's not gonna go now. So like, we'll probably be the ones that have to destroy the chief. Just saying.
I mean, I'm not against it, but that was a pretty quick conclusion jump.
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
It's
I mean,
going to
everything
plan.
keeps aiming towards this orc and the mysteries behind the orc king and how he became who he was. Or I guess he's not a king.
You might
So-
as well be.
I'm pretty much thinking that we're gonna have to fight this guy.
Danik, what do you know about the?
I feel like we should just get it over
upcoming
with
wedding?
because we know what's gonna happen.
I don't know where
Pretty
he
sure
is.
that orc chieftains are above our pay grade.
Really? Danik's confused by that one.
Chieftains of thousands of.
I mean, given the size, yes, but a chief is still just a chief, whether he rules.
Yeah, but we gotta get to him first.
Yes, I mean, that's the thing. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Wedding. Yeah, that's been a talk. Apparently, like, people are excited about it because it means yay, big feast, big celebration. There's like whisperings of people kind of worried about it because, I mean, apparently the Jarl here is a good leader, but that's about it. By good leader, I mean good at stabbing things and telling other people
So
to
he's
stab
a
things.
fighter more than anything.
He's a warrior.
They're not the friendliest people.
He had an audience with him once just because he wanted to know who the stranger was. Who's
Lynn reaches out, just like not even turning around and slaps him in the back of the head.
So I was like,
She's a fighter.
I know.
like I said, I met him once, but it was mostly because he wanted to know who I was.
Hence the not friendliness.
He was very direct and very brief. Not like, I mean, he didn't do anything bad. It was just like, who are you? Are you a threat? And he kind of, I'm thinking, realized that I'm a pathetic little mouse and got me out of his place as quickly as possible.
He seemed to avoid speaking with us one time.
I feel like we should talk to him.
I feel like that's a
I'm voting,
terrible
let's go.
idea.
Let's talk to the fella.
I mean,
Why not stop her?
you can. People can go there, but they have to stand in that line and wait unless he summons you.
No, I don't stand in lines.
Haha.
Which is hard lies.
I
You
don't
know who I am.
I haven't paid too much attention to the wedding because it hasn't really been my concern. You guys getting married?
Well, she's
We happened upon the manor of the bride-to-be, which
she's half what?
has
Half,
given us a bit more concern.
she's half dragon, half human, right?
No,
That's not quite how it works.
it seems that she had been gifted some draconic heritage
Yes.
from a dragon specifically.
Oh, neat.
I know, right?
I would think rare is what I was going for.
I mean, it can be both.
I'm sure that it is rare. It does not sound
I don't
like
think he
Any-
stumbled upon her.
No, it seemed very purposeful.
I mean, I don't really hear about too many dragons going around and just booping people on the nose and giving them magic.
Right.
So for that one time.
I mean, so I don't know. What's the play here?
Well,
I'm concerned for her, and I don't know what to do about her. But we do know the cleric who helped us is the same cleric we'll be seeing over this wedding.
Hmm.
So if we could talk to her, she might have some insight onto how to help.
I did hear that the wedding was getting delayed because the Jarl is taking a troop further north.
So you think that at this point he just came and gathered her so that she will be here when he gets back?
That's my guess. I didn't know she was here, but I mean, again, I haven't been looking into this.
Well, we only know that because he showed up at the manor this morning.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Well,
We had been staying there to rest from the
And-
storm.
didn't even try to talk to us.
couldn't this
Why would
girl just tell him no?
Uh-huh.
I don't think so. I think that's the problem.
She
Oh.
feels honor-bound.
Okay, misunderstanding. Sorry, I didn't realize this was an arranged thing. I thought this was. Ah. Yeah. Okay. Noble BS.
Suspicious.
Got it.
Suspicious circumstances.
Her sister is very not about this whole thing.
Well,
But
I mean, I could start asking around, see what I can find. I've made a few contacts here.
it seems that
usual.
her parents were
Yeah.
fairly prominent and their
And their death was very unexpected.
And then
read
magically
suspicious.
arranged marriage after their death was appeared.
Oh yeah, that stinks of.
Right? Now you understand where our
Got it. Okay, on the same page now.
Well, if
Like
you
we-
could If you've made contacts and gathered information, we can go find the cleric and see if we can help Ashna here.
Alright. What would you like me to find out?
Find out what would be most useful.
I will say, if you guys need anything that may be kind of questionable, you should talk to Jess.
Oh,
yeah,
the tiefling?
Yes. She's been very helpful.
I did kind of want to speak to her. Though, it was mostly out of curiosity.
We should also try to get your
Curiosity, sure.
I mean,
abominable snowman outfit, man.
Oh, yes.
oh, that would actually be Ashlyn. She's a tailor.
I mean, I'm kind of just...
I wondered.
It's
but
kind
I
of just
wasn't
like
gonna say
draped
anything.
over.
I thought you were just going for a look.
I'm trying to blend in. You see, I stand out so much, I have to do whatever I can to...
It's not helping.
I didn't think so. Mostly it's really just to keep warm.
The purple is...
It's very warm, though.
It looks it. Does anyone need anything? Call him up.
Could I get another color?
Did you want a color, Granny?
I would like to follow you, please.
What do I got
Nice.
so far?
That's why I was asking, since he was rolling.
Hold it up.
I wanted to do this sort of like arrangement with, you know, the two front lines like in the front ready to rock and you know, archers behind them and then probably Frecky behind the whole group doing something holy, but that would take a long time and I still don't know what Lynn looks like.
Little hint.
So it's probably going to be one of those things where I slowly draw individuals piece by piece and then I just Photoshop them together.
Gracias, sir.
So,
Nice.
Danik will add that people here have been very nice. They have taken care of her and Asna. Ashna.
Like the arm buckle.
The servants of the Hearthkeeper haven't been asking for coin or anything. It's just a, you know, she needs help and we'll take care of her.
So they're
Very
just simple
appreciated.
leather bracers.
So Danik goes off to kind of look up whatever she can.
Do we want to try to get some of our stuff done in case we have to leave her early? In case we have to leave in a hurry. Yes, we can get the things that we really want to get done before we
Actually,
we dive into this.
My suggestion would be that we try to leave first thing in the morning. We're gonna have a small window to try to find their city before the or find more information about our city before the Jarl gets back.
I think we should at least see if there's something we can do about Ashna first. If we can get her back on her feet, that would be great.
Wait. If we can find out more information about what the Jarl actually intends to do with his current excursion that he's taking on such short notice, if the orc have pulled back, he's either trying to figure out why, or he knows why and he's trying to find a city before they do.
Or he's trying to mount an offensive while they have their guard
Or-
set somewhere else.
Or he's trying to fortify his borders, expand into orc territory while
He
they're
he has a thing going on with the orc.
I mean, I appreciate that you're thinking outside the box.
I'm pretty sure that he's in cahoots.
Cahoots?
Cahoots.
He's in
Thank you. He's in cahoots with them.
He's in coots with them,
I-
orc.
I have been having trouble using words and sentences all day. Seriously, you have no idea. I talked to a lady and she's like, "What?"
Oh,
And I go, "I'm not wording today." So,
that's fine. That's fine.
I feel like one of us or two of us should follow the yard. Too. The Jarl. I don't know why I said yard. We should follow the yard and see where it takes us. No, the Jarl. And I'm looking at you.
And that'd be tomorrow. Wouldn't it?
And also, I'm not going to be following them into the wilderness. I had a hard, not for a long-ranging expedition. I mean, we could do it.
That's what I'm
together.
saying. Together. 2 little small groups,
So-
stealthing together as one.
Actually, yeah. The two of us could probably do it.
My navigation skills now.
That's going to depend on how far he's going. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want us to get that separated.
No, but we could follow him to see exactly where he's heading.
Remember the handbook? You never split the team.
I understand, but
Don't you know?
I feel like maybe finding out where he's going is going to give us one step clue closer to what is going on here. To
I'm
be perfectly
wondering if
honest
we
with
can
you.
figure out where he's going without even leaving the city.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. When's he leave?
As far as you know, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So we have until tomorrow to figure out if we can figure that out before we
So how about
send on a journey.
we hit Jests and Ashland?
Ashley.
Hit Ashland and Jests for any supplies. And then track down Frecky. Let's get out.
Maybe Frecky
We have time to.
overheard something. She was running with them for
Mm-hmm.
a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say that is plan B. Plan A is figuring out before we have to do plan B.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sound good to you?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
So where are you going first?
Ashland's?
Okay.
Because I think we only need the one thing, right? Getting the fur figured out
The fur figured out, yeah. Then we
from
need,
her, and then we can go to Jests.
So you search around the main marketplace for a bit. Doesn't take you long to find the little tailor shop. And behind the counter, currently folding fabrics, is a rosy-cheeked little halfling. Help you?
Oh, yeah, Ashland.
Ma'am?
I was hoping to get this fur cut into potentially a actual wearable cloak.
She hoists the Yeti for her.
Oh. Whew. It's a fairly good cut of pelt.
No, that was the one that we rolled a nat 20 on, if I remember right. Or was that the...
I know it was really good.
A wild mother must have been looking out for you lot to take out a Yeti.
We work well together.
Dysfunctional until the fight starts, that's my motto.
I mean, yeah, I could cut into a cloak fairly easy. Although there's enough here, I could probably make a little more. Tunic or something.
I'm open to suggestions.
I said pantsuit.
It'd be kind of up to you. I mean, I could do a full tunic top. We could do a cloak. Probably enough for tunic and mantle. Or a tunic and skirt, whichever you prefer.
I kind of illustrated a mantle.
I was saying a tunic and mantle would be good, I think. Whatever will keep me warm, you know?
The tunic and mantle would definitely do a good deal of that. How soon are you looking for?
How soon as you get it done?
I mean, I've got a few other orders. None of them are rushed.
This is also me not remembering timeline skills for crafts.
I could pull her off. And with me help, I could probably pull her off by tomorrow.
That'd be perfect.
If you're willing to pay for rush costs.
How much would that cost?
15 gold.
15 gold.
You're already providing the materials, so you don't got to charge you for any of that.
Do you have change for that?
Certainly.
I have 2 plat.
You do. Give you your change. She calls out who you're guessing are probably sisters by the similarity of their look. And 2 other gnomes come out and they take the Yeti fur. They ask if they can take some measurements.
Of course.
And they get to like
No, it might be a little special order.
Taking it you're wanting an open back.
If at all possible, yes, please.
I just wanted to look like a Yeti.
You can do that. As they take some more measurements, trying to figure out like, all right, how can we make sure that they'll fit the wings, but also still like cover. Because the last thing you want is just like a bare back in the middle of winter. Just partially why the mantle will be useful.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a good hour or so there.
While you're doing that, do you want us to go ahead and go on to the next stop?
Sure.
Which one was that going to be?
Just
The common good shop.
That should be easy.
common good shop and the not so common good shop.
Wink, wink.
I had an eye for each of you. Did I do it at the same time?
You blink?
That you're blinking.
You mean blink?
And just
Not hard.
to script this photo I took.
Not hard to find just straight goods. As this shop is just glammed all to the hells.
I feel like we should get potions too.
We can afford them.
Potions are expensive. We were really lucky to find what we had.
I know. I'm just saying.
Inside, you find a very colorfully dressed tiefling woman who welcomes you as you step into her shop. Welcome, welcome.
Do these 2 look anything similar?
In the sense that 2 humans look similar.
Well, I was meaning in the sense of
Not all tieflings are related.
Hashtag
well,
not all
no, because
tieflings.
the fact that he thought that she immediately thought that she looked like a tiefling, I was just wondering if the features were there.
The woman is kind of small-bodied. She has kind of long raven-colored hair. She has twin horns running around her back. Her skin is crimson. She has kind of a devilish tail.
I imagine that if a tiefling is a cheeseburger, Lainath is a double
No
bacon
one in.
cheeseburger.
Well, Lainath's appearance is a bit more chaotic. He has more of a purple skin. He doesn't have matching horns. His blood is demonic.
Who's actually got wings.
Hers
Yeah,
is
she-
devil.
Hers is more devilish.
Okay.
It's more, I mean, I don't want to say ordered, but she's symmetrical.
Yeah.
It's as much as people are.
That's what I was meaning. Not that like every person is the
No.
same. I was just
She
meaning
is a
for
more...
people to make the thing like, oh, are you tiefling? You know, like
Yeah,
is it really that close? Because I don't think anybody in the party's ever really played a tiefling before.
Yeah.
That's
They're
true.
a
So-
rare race
Yeah.
in the world because true tieflings originated from a single family, but then have just, over the
I
course
believe
of
I
many
played one
centuries.
in one game, but it was
Yeah, and I don't think we've come encounter with many
Whereas
tieflings.
Lainath is actually not a tiefling. That's just what people think he
Yeah,
is.
and that's what all we want them to think. Because if they learn that, oh, what, devil? What?
Well,
Your father's a what?
Cambion?
Cambion. Lainath is actually half demon.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I was saying.
whereas a tiefling is many generations removed from a curse. Like, in their line, they didn't actually, sleep with a devil to bear children. This is literally Asmodeus going, bonk, mine. What can I do for you?
We need supplies.
What sort of supplies do you need?
Well, I think we need some rations for the next range that we go on.
Yes. Fair enough. We got plenty of that. Had a good store of meat come in recently.
Did we hear that this was also the person we talked to for illicit goods?
Yes. That's why I did the
I would
it's
like
not
to.
so common.
I would like to thieves cant a little bit to see if she speaks the language.
You have thieves camp?
She does.
Oh my god. Who was it that was looking for thieves camp? What was his name?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
What was it that you were asking me to acquire for you?
Oh, I was looking
Like
at
a
tea
poisoner's
things.
kit, right?
Yes. Yeah, so I can extract poison from my snake.
Okay.
So we can put it in
And
our
thieves
weapons.
can't. I will ask for that sort of thing.
Garrett's character, but
Vincent.
Vincent! I never came across someone.
Which probably sounds like I'm just asking for some really weird items.
Like his character. His
Yeah.
character.
His character's not dead.
No, but, you know.
Oh,
he
yeah,
doesn't play
yeah.
again.
Like it must sound like I'm asking for like wizardry supplies. Like,
Oh yes, some of those components just came in.
excellent.
To be total of 50 gold.
Can you swing that?
Yep.
Damn, I didn't realize that you were such a high roller.
Apparently, I should have asked for more. She sets it down.
You should have.
How many plats are in gold?
10.
Yep, I have just. I'm broke now.
Nobles start with the most gold.
Ah,
Most starting gold.
yeah, that makes sense.
I'm gonna ask for something that we probably could use a long time ago. Do you know where I can buy a sled?
Not here, but yes. There's a store by the main gate. Fine, they have animals instead. And
Is it
such.
called a poison kit?
Poisoner's kit?
I just assumed that a sled and the thing to pull it would cost more than what we got.
I don't know if we can afford to.
I
don't know if we can afford the animal.
I was just gonna say we get a couple dogs.
Thing is, another reason
Yeah,
we might
could
want
get
to have
dogs.
a sled actually is just to pull supplies and maybe Ashna.
I don't know if we'd want to take her out in this.
Yeah, that's
She's
legit.
safe right here.
Well,
I mean, I'm not there.
If she's safe,
I'm
I
not
was-
getting measured right now.
I was thinking in case we wanted to do this whole thing where each person
A sled
pulls a sled.
I would say a
Well,
sled ain't too bad.
One of them sits in it, and then we all like 3 pull a sled, and then
Are
one
you
sits, the
looking-
rest, and then
Are you
switch it
looking for
around.
like
So if we
a
want to
big
keep going.
fancy sled, or are you looking for something just to pull behind? I've got a couple of pull behinds. I don't have the big riding sled.
If we could swing it, I think we would prefer the big the riding.
Yeah, you'll be
sled.
wanting the main gate for that one.
you got the strength to take care of the weight of that.
You'll be
boat,
looking
is
at
correct,
around-
I'm assuming.
Probably close to
I'm
100 gold for
assuming.
one of
I
them.
don't know how much it weighs. How much does that poisoner's kit weigh? I'm sorry.
It's in the player handbook.
Okay, I'll look later.
It's like a few pounds. Like I don't think it's gonna.
Probably
Be
somewhere
effectively-
between 5 and 10. is
Yeah,
my guess.
unfortunately, the alchemy kit was like 50 pounds or 30 pounds or something stupid.
It's
Because it's all like, here's some wood cases and a bunch of glass. And
How much are the smaller sleds?
smaller sleds are just 20 gold.
that's the pull behind you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we can pool our money for a pull behind.
Well, I'm broke now.
Well, okay, some of us can.
I just bought a kit for us that we will actually
Just
use
because, frankly, it would probably be more economical to pull that than to try to carry everything on our backs.
Yep.
And also, I probably wouldn't be the one pulling it, which is good for me.
And this sled that she's talking about it is a pull behind, but it's also kind of this what you imagine for like dog sled races.
Okay,
Yeah,
you can
it's one of those.
it can do both.
It can do both.
Because the other thing about dogs,
Uh-huh.
who's going to take care of them?
We have a ranger right there.
What? What ranger? Where?
if we get sled dogs, you going to take care of the sled dogs?
Didn't sign up.
Hey.
When I played a ranger, if there was an animal even near the group, I was like, "This is mine." No.
Yeah, we all play.
I've got my
rangers
bird and
differently.
I've got a griffin and I'm taking care of the horses and
I got my
oh you
snake.
don't want your ferret anymore? It's my ferret now.
I'm not that kind of ranger.
No, I'm sad.
You're the same kind of ranger that I was, a beastmaster.
I'm still not that kind of ranger.
Wait, are you actually a
She's
Beastmaster
a
Ranger?
beastmaster. So they're the only one that gets a pet.
Yeah, I wanted this name.
Okay, well that's cool. She's a Snake Master.
Yeah, I like snakes.
So if we get some warm-blooded fuzzy snakes to pull the sled,
Shit might get real for me.
Warm-blooded fuzzy snakes with 4 legs. They don't have
You mean
fangs.
lizards?
and they bark sometimes, I hear.
Yes.
Where are we gonna get ferrets that big though?
Maybe ferrets.
Yes.
I just saw some art recently in which somebody was writing a dire weasel and it was amazing.
That sounds awesome.
Anyway,
Depending on how long this takes will depend on if I catch up with you guys here later.
We're already debating
Because-
whether or not we should get the pull behind.
I'm going to say that we should get the pull behind.
How much money do you have?
I have enough to cover half of it. If somebody else wants to do it, a couple other people want to chip in. So
We haven't been finding a lot of gold.
he said it was 20 gold. I can throw a platinum at it.
Okay.
I'm always interested in trade. If you have anything of
Trade.
interest.
What do we have in trade? Hey, wait. We do have some things in trade.
Actually,
Who has some of that stuff we don't want?
The stuff you don't want, eh?
yeah, you leave the room now. Go snake master somewhere else.
She means things that we don't need, I think is what my associate meant to
I'm
say.
sure she does.
And I'm just gonna mutter something in Ingan as I
Okay, I try to size this guy up a
Ruby
little
dropped
bit.
me.
All right. What kind of interests might this dude have?
Her
Sheep.
her
Sorry.
shop is very much.
Oh, I thought we were talking about like to the sled dude.
No, you're still talking
No.
about the tiefling.
Oh,
No,
okay.
Tiefling dude had the
She has a pull behind.
She has the pull behind. Okay.
She
guy
doesn't
who-
have like the big.
Yeah, she doesn't have a big like multi-person stuff.
So, she's blitzed all to hell.
Blitzed all to hell and back. Her store is filled with pretty much a little bit of
Oh my
everything.
god, I think I found a tiefling that looked just like that.
All right. Does she seem like somebody that has like a really good knowledge of like religion and the orc tribes and stuff like that?
Make an insight with disadvantage.
Okay.
Can I say that when I roll up, Lainath does in fact have some snacks that the gnomes just gave him?
So even with disadvantage, I still got a 21.
I couldn't say no.
So you don't see a lot of like religious or orcish like items in the shop. She's got a couple of religious symbols, but mostly things like the Gilded Mask, the Traveler, the Eternal Maiden,
Okay.
the Everlight. You know, things that are just like, you know, hey, you look good in my shop.
Hey, this is pretty.
I pull out that holy symbol of the one-eyed ruiner that we looted. I polish it off a little bit, and I present it. This was taken from an elite orc warrior.
An elite orc warrior.
I have his armor.
Yeah, his full plate armor was refitted to suit Lynn here better.
Hey guys, how's the shopping going?
I'm working.
She looks at him. She's like,
This is the holy symbol of the one-eyed ruiner, the god that this tribe
I
worships.
think there's an un in front of that word.
Yes, well, that's
Make a-
relative.
Make a persuasion check.
Is she decked out like that?
Yep.
Yeah. That's what I imagined.
Oh, see that picture?
17.
That was my dragon buddy in the game.
I'll give you.
Mm.
I'll give you 2 gold and an electrum.
I look at the electrum. I'm like,
What
what
even
does
are
this
you?
do?
What even is this? Those gnomes are very friendly. They give me snacks.
You probably saw me leave.
What
Just
what is the
personally.
electrum worth? Is it
5.
worth 5 silver?
5 silver.
Yeah.
Do you want a gnome snack?
I'm good.
They called them Snicker snacks.
It's a Snicker snack. You
Oh,
sure?
oh, wait a minute. We gotta
Oh,
be careful.
I-
with
oh,
this.
you
I thought the
Alright,
Snicker
awesome.
snacks were the edibles that we got in the last game.
That's because I've been watching some Commander Holly.
Yeah,
I
these are
will-
no. Wasn't those laced
I
with
said
like
that,
Is there a,
but the gnome just
Hello.
gave gave
Drugs?
Lainath some snacks, and he was just
when
like,
we were,
I can't
when
say
we were
no.
discussing
I'll take them.
our
Okay.
shopping trip, did we
Yeah.
find out is there a armor in the
You didn't ask.
in the city?
You haven't asked yet.
Is there an armor in the city?
Oh, hi. That would be.
Which are really good Snicker snacks.
Remember the last ones we had? They were laced with something. But wrong.
If you're
wrong
wanting
campaign.
armor and weapons, you'll be wanting to talk to
Edibles was italicized when I said it.
Hold on 1 minute. Lynn leaves the shop and goes.
Okay. Your friend left.
I guess she did.
Mm.
I'll-
Yeah. But another one has joined us.
You. Hello.
Hi.
Wow. You I like.
I get that reaction sometimes. Other times it's get out.
I don't think I have much room to wave a torch there, darling.
I, like, kind of passing by Lainath, I kind of, like, try to sleight of hand Lainath the 2 Yeti horns. Because, yeah, Lainath's going to be much better at bartering with this chick than I am.
Why do you
Make a
giving-
deal.
Oh. I am apparently.
And I just
supposed
go
to
and,
strike a
like,
deal
start,
with you.
like, I'm like, okay,
I
yeah,
see.
that's the thing, I'm going to just start barter. Like, looking at stuff somewhere else.
You know, I show up and they all leave.
Apparently.
That's how my life works. What were they trying to get? They didn't even
Apparently
tell me.
They wanted a sled.
A sled. That's actually a really good idea.
Thank you.
Your friend traded me for. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do with this, but some pompous young ass is probably going to want it to claim it as a battle trophy. That didn't actually happen.
It was an actual battle trip.
I
He
mean,
didn't turn it though.
but it's not a battle trophy if you buy it.
No.
This is a battle trophy.
Your other-
I
your
say
other
with my
friend-
axe.
The other
I
friend
was
wanted to
thinking
know
your
who the,
Yeti outfit.
the local smith
This
was.
is a battle trophy. This is. See, I'm not going to get the Yeti outfit until tomorrow, though.
No, that's true.
But the axe I still have. This is a battle trophy.
So,
So, we have bits of Yeti that can be used to craft many of various amount of things.
not a crafter.
No, but I'm sure craftsmen shop here.
Some. If you're looking to
I'm sure others could be turned into interesting bits of jewelry. In fact, I think these horns would make great drinking horns.
I certainly would, though I'm actually thinking you could get more somewhere else that I would be very willing to tell you about for, say, a silver. That would be something that you would probably want to talk to Cesar. He is
Yes.
Cesar,
Cesar.
a rather eccentric little fellow, but he deals in all the arcana.
Mm. Yes, I'm sure he would be very interesting.
You'll find a better price for them there.
Thank you.
That's me being nice.
I appreciate it.
She's looking for love and all the
No, that was
services.
nice for a price, but I respect it.
No, for more the sense you get is she's used to feeling ostracized. She's
Mm.
probably the only tiefling here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what the one guy said.
So if she sees someone who is similar to her, she is going to be a little bit nicer.
Hey, I get you.
Lainath's also hot as hell, so that doesn't hurt.
Mm.
That's what you say.
So, is there anything else?
How does he get this?
For a human, they're not that different.
Go there. You'll find that quite different. Was there anything else you were interested in? I know we needed to restock on rations.
Yeah. And she seems to have an abundance of those.
That's
We've got
good.
rations.
Potions.
Standard fare.
You and Vanessa, either you need arrows.
I could stand to have another quiver.
I'm good. I have 40 plus my whatever 10.
So 50.
I believe
Yeah.
quivers are just a gold for 20.
Rations are 5 silver a day. Arrows are a gold for 20.
Why did Lynn leave? Where'd she go?
To the armorer.
Didn't she just get new armor?
You know how it is.
Well, we were negotiating for stuff. You'd probably assume she's trying to sell her old armor.
That's actually, yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
true. She probably is trying to get rid of her old armor.
Because I don't need to be hearing that around.
5 silver a day, you said, for
Rations.
So this sled, you said it was a pull sled, like a
It also,
over the shoulder, or like dog. Okay, so we will need dogs too.
you can also color. It's not-
If I remember correctly, Vanessa's not a fan of dogs.
I mean, it's strangely, she's just not a fan of any animal that doesn't have scales.
Some people just like reptiles. I don't know.
She doesn't like arms and legs. That's what Vanessa doesn't like.
She likes noodles.
She likes noodles. Danger ropes. Oh wait, no ropes and danger noodles. That's
Yes, there you go.
Interesting conversations. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry. Just trying to get our stuff sorted out here. Yes. Got one. Got torches. Got rope.
You always need rope.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Okay, I come back.
Boston's
Anybody?
always got rope, and he always finds use for it.
I'm coming back into the shop again.
Welcome back.
Hi.
What can I do for you?
So
You look like you have an eye for something.
I have a small bag here of gems.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. You're like, how did you get those?
Let's
I
see.
showed them to you. 3 gems. I know how much they're worth, so 50 gold. That's what you told me. This is 3 gems, 50 gold.
Yeah.
Oh, each, yeah.
That was in the kobold horde, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We'll never know.
Yes.
Oh, you're gonna be one of those people.
No.
It was.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember.
Nice. Some flaws, but overall decent quality.
Like any individual.
One of these will get you a sled, no problem.
I think one of those could get us 2 sleds.
I'm not
Two
looking
does
for.
could get us the big sled on a. 3 of them could get us the big sled on the dogs.
I just saw how beautiful you were.
Oh, no,
Decorative.
flattering me.
No, I just saw how beautiful you're decorated with, and as I left, I remembered that I had these.
I don't have the gold on me to give you that value.
Mm.
If there's something you want, I would be interested.
Well, there was that kit that I bought.
You already paid for that.
Yeah, I know, I
Does
did.
she have healing potions?
Yes. There we go. Healing potions.
I do.
How much are healing potions? Like 50?
Like 50 gold a piece.
Yeah, would you trade 3 healing potions for 3 gems? It's pretty fair.
Make a persuasion check.
Mm-hmm.
At least I remember. The Pathfinder, I think the base one was 50 gold. Yeah.
8. I say it.
No, I'm just checking actually.
You like how I went 8?
This
Vanessa's-
group is not charismatic.
I'm
That's
noticing.
not very charismatic.
I'm learning.
I had good insight, but I have poor persuasion.
She thinks she's charismatic, like her father.
Oh
did.
my god, you're just like Daytech, who also thought he was charismatic
Throw
and
in
wasn't.
5 gold and you have a deal.
Mm.
Because again, I do want to say the prices of the player handbook are base.
I know.
Markets
I know.
up, merchants upcharge.
Retail versus wholesale.
I don't want to die out there.
Wonderful.
You just earned yourself one.
She gets three potions and very small little red vials. Cans them off.
There's one for the 5 gold. Who else has a tendency to a lot more between you two?
You're the only one who hasn't gone down
They
in
are
a fight
regular
yet.
healing potions.
Everybody else has gone down in fights before, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, I've used the healing potion. That's why I was asking.
I also don't know how. I currently have 1 on my person. I have 1.
Do you have one?
I have a healing potion.
Be sure to mark off those gems.
Yes, thank you for reminding me of that. I'm glad I looked down at my sheet and I said, do I have anything
I
to
was gonna say, I
sell?
knew I gave you guys some stuff that was worth things. Meanwhile, we'll
See,
say
I thought Bardo wrote it all down.
by this point you've made it to the smith.
Well, I distributed pretty much everything.
The smith and
The
armorer.
potion of healing was 1d8 plus
2d4.
2d4 plus 2.
2d4 plus 2.
Yeah, they're always d4s in D&D.
I'll give you.
That way there's more dice rolled.
I'm gonna give you one.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you one because I forgot I have 1 still left. I haven't
Oten
opened.
is a very heavily muscled half-elf.
that at first he almost looks more half-dwarf, given his stocky build and full beard.
Yeah.
But he is half-elf.
Is he a dwarf? Is he a dwarf?
No,
And he's the one that we can sell the Yeti stuff to, right?
No, this is
This
steel.
is the armor.
Steel and iron.
Oh, he's at the
So
iron place. Okay.
He's working on something. Help you, miss.
Maybe you can. I heard that you were the person I should see if I was looking to sell a set of armor.
Depends on the condition.
I'll pull out my my set of chainmail.
He looks it over. Seen a bit of damage, I can tell.
But Smith set you yourself. I don't think there should be any issue.
You get set on fire at one point.
I don't want to talk about it.
It'll need fitted to whomever's going to buy it, but it's not bad shape. Suppose. What are you looking for? Are you just looking for coin, or are you wanting something?
Ooh.
Says chainmail.
Yeah. Well, my friends and I are going to be setting out on a expedition soon, and I feel like having a sled would be useful. Having some coin to put that direction would probably be.
I could give you roll up persuasion.
Where do you go?
You can borrow mine.
Yeah, I almost went mine.
Yeah, find that.
What is it, man?
It's right there. Oh.
It blended in with the table.
Yes.
Persuasion.
I'm telling you, Shelby, he'd be lost without me.
13.
Give you
Really serious.
I don't tell you.
That's why I love him.
No.
give you 36 gold.
Seems a little on the low side. Lynn will reach into her bag and pull out 8 orc slings and 8 orc daggers. What's
And for the armor, it's because it'll need refitting. It's been a bit damaged.
I know.
Just under half of what I would probably try and sell it for.
How about
The slings,
let's call it 50 for the lot.
okay, how many slings?
8 and 8 daggers.
I could do 45.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure doing business.
Thank you.
Not quite the slings and daggers of outrageous fortune.
No, but I mean it was.
Slings are like a couple silver, I think, for a sling, so they weren't worth it.
Yeah.
No, but he didn't need him anymore. It was a way to get
But
rid
the
of him.
daggers are 2 gold apiece, which is
Yeah.
half 1 gold.
Yeah. So
You can always have use for daggers.
I'll head back to the.
Go back to the shop where
Okay.
people are still perusing and chatting up the shopkeep a little bit as you're kind of waiting.
I got some more gold. If,
Who'd you beat up?
sold my chainmail.
Oh.
Question for you, Josh.
Yeah.
If I turn
You and
those
that chainmail
dragon
throw a lot
baby
together.
teeth into arrow tips,
Yeah.
would they do any extra damage?
By themselves, no, but you could potentially have them made into magic arrows.
The
Like,
baby teeth?
yeah, just basically taking an arrow and just tying a tooth to the end isn't going to really do anything
Well,
special.
no, I just didn't know if it added anything extra.
No, but how crafting magic items works in this game is you typically need something special as the crafting component, which
Okay.
dragon teeth could qualify for.
Because I could possibly, we have 20 of them. I could make us some, or not make us, but get us made some sweet arrows.
Yeah. If
Because
that's,
I'd be willing to share that with you.
if that's affordable, I am down.
Yeah.
You're not thinking it would be affordable because making magic items is expensive.
But
Yeah.
I also have
right now.
like the claws. I have other items that when we sell the horn, maybe we can come up
Let's
with some money.
hold on to that
So-
stuff for now.
Yes, but
So you were wanting the sled.
overall plan.
As again, I don't have dogs, but
Just could you give me an estimate what a dog would cost?
if you're looking for an actual rider dog,
It costs approximately an RV.
Ooh, I also have 10 Yeti claws.
Cheaper than a horse. It costs a whole kingdom.
you're probably looking at about 25 gold a beast for a good trained
No,
dog.
I messed up that reference.
You're
Plus
looking-
feed.
You're looking for pups, then you can get it a lot cheaper, but then they're pups.
Yeah, they're not gonna pull the
The reference I should have made was if you get an RV, you get a free dog with it.
nah. Well, I would
I just worry if we get an animal like a puppy.
Puppies would be
A
useless
puppy's
to you
not
right
pulling the sled.
you know,
No,
you need
no, I
dogs.
mean like a dog or a puppy. We should look more at something that could fend itself in case.
My throat tells me dogs can defend themselves fine.
The
Okay.
thing is,
I'm thinking Winston, and he
He
would
could.
not.
Winston would not be a sled dog.
Winston
No,
couldn't
no.
pull a sled. You would need something like a husky, which
Yeah.
is about twice the
Yes,
size
but
of
my,
Winston.
my mind's thinking that all dogs are like Winston.
That is very wrong.
It's
No,
not. It's not how
Huskies.
dogs work.
He
Huskies
just
twice the
wiggles
size
his-
of Winston and 3 times as ornery.
I know, but he wiggles his butt a lot, and he just
No, but
wants to
she's
be
talking like,
loved.
more
goddamn
like a
they run.
trained sled dog. You're looking at around 25, maybe more gold.
I just want to. I honestly.
Okay.
Also,
I
with
really
the kind
want-
of shit that we would like run into to fight, no animal's gonna be
Well, no,
Yeah.
but
okay.
I
That's
really just
other
want
than
like,
like
a,
your
like
companion.
an
Also,
odd animal to pull our cart, like penguins
creatures
or
might be
something. You
interested
know what I
in
mean?
dog, especially something like horse.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like an
Yeah, I
animal,
would,
like an odd animal to pull our cart. I don't know why, but I do.
Then, Kaci, train an odd animal to pull our
I
cart.
know. I need to figure out that.
and I
Cause like, could you imagine seeing a bunch of people
talk
being
you
pulled
down to
by
45.
a
A bullet.
bunch of? No, I was thinking more like
I thought the
ferrets,
sled was.
snow
How much
ferrets,
was this?
or
50.
A normal sled
The
is.
sled was 20.
Yeah, I'd gladly take 45.
Oh,
off
I thought
The
hand.
sled was 20 when.
Never mind.
No, it's 45. I don't know what you're talking about.
I misremembered.
Right.
Kaci,
20 gold for the sled.
dire
I
stones.
will take the sled.
Very well.
I need to look up really cool animals that would be in the wilderness.
She goes over and pulls it
'Cause I
down
will
off
do
the
that.
wall. It's this nice big sled. It comes in. It's basically you can disassemble it. And she shows you like
handy.
Look,
it
guys,
makes it easier for
I got us a
carrying.
dragon to pull our sled.
If you're having to like scale a cliff or something.
That's super good.
That's brilliant. I love it.
There you go. Enjoy your purchase.
We determined, though, that we need dire stones to pull it.
Ah, can't help you there.
I just want a bizarre animal that's like, that can pull a sled, but is like, we look awesome.
I mean,
Like a scorpion?
legends say Father Winter has a sled of
that's
rabbits.
not a good
but
idea.
dire rabbits, of course. But he's just a.
Elk would be really cool.
So,
I'm saying something
Where-
like that. I'm willing to train something awesome,
where to now?
but I don't want to train puppies or dogs.
Let's try to find Puppy.
Let's try to find. No,
I want snow elks.
not a puppy. I want a
I
dog.
convey the information that I'd gathered earlier about getting into the Jarl's dements.
It's basically you up the ramps and then you wait in line.
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, we could probably just freaking pull the sled ourselves at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, for now, that's probably what we're going to have to do. But
Until
it's
I
going to be
find
a,
those snow elves.
but it is also gonna be-
word to like
Yeah,
Anastasia.
you can send word to Frekier on stuff.
it's
So,
also going
I
to
would
be
just-
much
I would think we
easier
just
to
said
carry
we'll try to
a
get
large
more.
amount of supplies and loot on the sled than
What
it will
are
be on
you
all of our maps.
wanting
Yeah.
to say?
Until I can
To
get those
Freki,
snow
what do you want to
elves.
say?
To Freki, to say that we have found another person like us
Or Steve's.
who has not yet woken up. We were wanting to know if she would have the time to take a look. Or any advice she would have.
Perhaps you can say that if she has the time to meet us at X location, which is a location that
I
we
would
would be.
I'd also include that they're at the Hearthkeeper.
Mm-hmm. Temple of the Hearthkeeper.
Well, I mean, you could just have her meet us at the tavern so that we're going to be at the tavern anyway, right? And then that way, if she can't show up, then we're not sitting at the
It has every intention, with just everything going on, of getting completely fit-shaced, and then
Fair enough.
And then that's not too far away from the Temple of the Hearthkeeper.
Yeah. So you send a message, and I assume then you go back to the
Can I
tower.
make it a trap first?
making yes.
Couple hours later, we'll say like just after sunset, Frecky would actually show up.
How drunk is that?
Because
Your
How?
words were
Has
fit-chased.
she been hitting it hard and fast, or going for more of a slow burn?
kind of more slow burn, but she's probably been drinking whiskey for the past couple hours.
Now, moving one pretzel, turn that into the symbol of the song.
So, I will say this will cost you 3 silver, and you are pretty drunk. Not, I'm gonna die drunk, but you're at that. You're having a good time. Other people around you might not.
Thanks, Lynn.
Not fun.
That is what's pulling our sled.
I feel
I
like
don't know what it is, but I must have it.
I need some ham.
Right?
I got your message.
Rocky!
Hi. Awkward hug.
She's been drinking.
I can tell. More accurately, I can smell.
Everything was awful, Frankie.
I'm sorry.
We did find 2 of our people.
Your message said one of them was hurt.
She's not waking up. She seems otherwise healthy.
I can take a look, but
How are things on your end?
Yes.
they're going. Poor girl is still kind of closed. She's kind of closed herself off a bit with everything that's happening. The Jarl is going out on his little expedition, but wants to have the ceremony whenever he gets back.
He said he was leaving tomorrow. Do you know why?
They found an opportunity to retake some fort that they lost to the orcs. And with the orcs pulling back a bit, they're hoping to retake and hold. At least for a while.
You say some fort. Do you know which one?
I don't know its name, but I'm sure folk around here do.
Oh, okay. So this is public information then.
That would be on.
No, they would know which fort got taken.
Oh, okay.
That would be on the map.
So do
We
you
forgot
know-
our map. Sorry, we gotta go get it. We gotta go get our
We
map.
don't have to get the map right now. Lynn.
Okay.
We can get the map in the morning.
Do we know exactly? Is he for sure going?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain he is. He's got all his great warriors up there all talking about it.
I'm sorry, I called you something.
He's
It's all right, Lynn.
he's big on leading from the front.
Well, let's take her to Ashna.
You guys make your way over to the temple. This time, the priest is there, which he greets Frecky respectfully, and she respectfully acknowledges him as well. Simple bows and a blessing said from each of their deities, basically. And he shows her and you back to where Ashna is. She begins an examination. You have her character sheet.
I do.
Would you please roll a medicine check?
Is that tools?
Just go.
Oh,
Medicine.
I'm a blind man.
That's okay. I got you.
How am I doing your eye exercises?
Casey's helping out the Brandons today.
I mean, I feel like keeper of the Brandons.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. So Frecky does an examination. For decency's sake, she asks everyone else to leave because doing an examination of a young lady.
Mhm.
Well, members of the party are women, still polite.
Yep.
Get out. She's in there for the better part of an hour or so. And eventually comes back out. And you were the leader of your group, right? Do you mind?
Okay. Is there something dire?
Yes and no. It's kind of odd.
Okay.
And she's telling this in private. What's wrong with her is her body can't seem to heat up enough.
Is the hypothermia set in, or?
No, that's being held off, but most folk are pretty warm on their own. She ain't.
Is this a medical issue, or?
It seemed natural for her.
Really?
Maybe this might show. She brings you over, where she kind of just gently turns her head, moves her hair a bit. And behind her ears, you see fine, multicolored scales.
What does that mean?
Vanessa's going to try and train her.
Roll nature for Frecky.
11.
The girl here, I'm not exactly sure what she is, but she ain't. I thought she was human, but she ain't.
So did I. Huh. She's never spoken about her heritage.
Had a dark suspicion at first, but it wasn't right. She pulls back her lip gently, and there is a fang that is extendable.
Ah. Not that.
She ain't that.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
Because it's not like a sharpened canine. It's actually a separate tooth that's just located high up in the gum that can extend.
Hmm. That's very reptile.
I have no idea. I've never seen someone like this before.
Hmm.
A lore master or something might have more, but aside from just getting her back to a proper temperature, I don't know what to do. Just the cold nature of this place, it's making it real hard.
So you think she might be cold-blooded?
That's my guess.
You said Vanessa in?
Right.
You care for a snake.
So you get asked in.
What's up?
Rainbow is cold-blooded, right?
What the hell is going on there?
How do you keep her warm in this climate?
She's wearing a sock.
She's wearing a sock, but Rainbow is very lethargic.
Yeah, she's been winding up around me, so I've been heating both of us.
Okay.
And she's been using her body heat.
Mm-hmm.
From Frecky's examination, it seems like Ashna's not what we thought she was. She might be cold-blooded, and that might be what's keeping her asleep. Do you know any way that might help keep her warm?
Knowledge of nature, I'm assuming?
Go ahead.
16.
Well, if she is cold-blooded, it just means that her internal temperature needs to be raised.
Mm-hmm.
And while the blankets and the fire is helping, it's basically just kind of keeping her stable.
I feel like maybe a hot water bath, because it really sprang up Rainbow when I took her to a hot place. Like a really hot bath, like a...
I would say you would know that you would want the temperature to be raised slowly, not just like,
Yes.
dunk!
Yeah, no, like, slowly bring her... But I would think a hot water bath, like
an
heat
insulating
tub.
blanket over
Mhm.
her would actually just protect her from the heat of the fire as much as it would insulate whatever heat
And that was
she
the
already
problem.
has.
They didn't know. They
Yeah.
were just trying to be like,
So
you're a person, you need blanket.
if we can find a place where we can slowly bring up her heat, her body temperature, and we would know when it would start to work, because Rainbow would obviously be like, So
And Ashna might actually just wake up.
yeah, that too. I mean, if I'm saying if that's the case, if that's actually what's bothering you.
Okay.
So I think we should probably look into that.
All right.
But that would be my
You do know that there was a bathing area at the inn.
Yeah.
I think we might want to try to figure that then.
Yeah. Maybe start her off as in the room, and then as for a little bit, and then maybe in a few minutes, then slowly maybe dunk a couple hands and just kind of slowly get her into the water.
You would just want room temperature water and then just increase the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Add more coals to whatever.
Yeah, I guess it is close. My mind can't think of
It's fine.
anything but a hot tub.
Share this time with Ricky. What does she think?
That's the best I can think of. This is a bit beyond my knowledge of how to treat people.
Dr. Vanessa.
You have to remember, until you showed up, I've never seen a snake before.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
She's from a cold climate. Cold-blooded things do not exist up here.
Fair. That's very fair.
So, making sure she is very well bundled.
Yes.
And moving very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We need to find a river has.
You get Ashna from the temple to the inn. It is trying to preserve as much heat as you can so she doesn't get worse.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to assume that Danik is here as well.
I was going to say, actually, what Lynn might do is get everybody else the sled, bundle up with...
We can just say that we use the sled as part of this.
Like I said, you're getting her there.
Well, I was going to say, because then Lynn could use her body heat in the blanket to warm up the...
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Except that Lynn's been drinking, so she's been losing body.
That's also true.
Overthinking things, we're there.
Well, but see,
I was gonna say, I was just saying you guys were there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you can make it. It's like a 2-minute walk.
The Brandons are at the table.
Audience, you should see them play Shadowrun.
Oh god.
You really don't want to.
I
It's
fucking
like,
love it.
It's like watching paint dry.
It's because I just get to sit there and be like, they're overthinking.
It's like
everything.
watching
And I'm like,
paint dry
Josh,
that
I just
also
want to
fight
steal
itself.
a car.
Luckily, that was not at a table
No,
with the
that was
Brandons.
the Friday group.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. Anyway, you get there.
The
You
fence was
basically
also the Friday
secure
group.
a bathing room.
Alright. You two take care of her.
Yes.
Sure.
Well,
No.
you're both women.
Yes.
I don't want to go in there and be like, that's kind of creepy.
We also, I mean, if
Captain Captain.
I'm forgetting her name off the top of my head, but the tactician.
Danik.
If Danik can also look after her
Yes.
while
Yeah.
we do whatever we gonna do.
Well, there's
Danik-
also her. She knows, like, the snake anatomy.
Yes.
It will basically be like Frecky, Danik, and Vanessa can do it. They wouldn't need much more help. Lynn could help if she wanted to. They wouldn't kick her out.
Yeah.
And if you need to get sober, I can do that.
I feel like this is my
Actually, yeah, you totally
My
can.
knowledge.
Yes, I can.
Boop, you're sober.
I can
God,
just
I
make you
feel
sober.
I feel like you've trolled Silas doing that before.
Oh, probably.
You ruined my awesome buzz.
You're being an asshole. You
I was
started
saying this-
3 fights.
And this is not me trying to be vulgar.
I do that sober.
When doing this, those of you who are in there would realize that aside from her hair, eyebrows, and eyelashes, she actually has no body hair whatsoever. Doesn't look like she even can grow it. Or it just doesn't grow.
And I never looked that closely.
There are also small patterns of multicolored scales just all over her body, but usually in places that she keeps covered.
Mm-hmm. But she's definitely not. Is she? Maybe she's a shapeshifter.
Okay. She was known for staying really well covered and even wearing a mask under most circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Commonly wearing like a hajib kind of thing.
Would it be knowledge arcana?
You've already rolled nature.
Oh yeah.
So you guys make a either Frecky or Vanessa can make a medicine check. And they get
She's better at
advantage because
medicine.
others are helping.
Yeah, she's definitely better at
She's a
medicine.
+5 on medicine.
Yeah.
She's
I-
actually trained in medicine.
Yeah, I'm only +2, and I did that well. With a wisdom spell.
You have advantage.
Yes.
Well, I tried.
11.
She is improving.
It's a good
But-
thing that I always was fascinated with snakes.
That did just now come in very handy.
Yeah. Vanessa is very fascinated with snakes.
And once that is clear that she is making improvements, Brecky would invite you guys if you wish to go and tell the others or go do whatever else you have to do. She'll watch her. Because now it's just wait.
So,
I feel like Rainbow's like, "We
so
have to
what's
leave."
going on?
She's doing a little bit.
She's doing a little bit better.
Yeah, she's getting some.
How much have you guys
color
told us
back.
about like the scales and stuff?
Mm,
Because now
not
I'm
really
the only
on-
person in the party that
Not
doesn't know.
really too much because it's her own personal thing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's legit.
The only
Yeah.
reason why you and me know you're captain and I know things about
You're more or less the medic in this situation.
pretty much when Frankie's not around. I think besides you, I'm the closest thing to a medic.
You're very much better at the skill than
She
I am.
has acute dysthymia.
I will ask, what is everyone's passive insight -5?
Passive insight and stuff?
So just what's your insight plus 5?
Pretty much.
7.
7.
8
Two.
for Silas.
Oh, +5.
And 10
7.
for Frecky.
Frecky's in with her. So, going good. So no. I hate having to ask that because that means there is something you missed and you all know it, but welcome to the nature of the beast.
It's things that either
I
we
need, to
didn't
write,
roll
I, need to,
high.
I need to write down all your guys' stuff. I just forgot to.
Well, it's some of the things where it's either we didn't roll high enough to get more knowledge,
Mhm.
or it's not something we thought as
Yeah.
players.
Mhm.
to
That's what it
even
is.
think
Just something
as.
that you guys haven't noticed or thought of.
I thought you wrote down our passive perceptions at one point, but
Passive perception, yes.
Yes,
Passive. Other
I forget things
no.
like you can also do passive insight, passive investigation.
mm,
You can pretty much do a passive anything. But so anyway, what do you guys want to do?
It's evening at this point, right?
Yeah, it's dark, but that's only like 6 p.m. here.
I would like to figure out.
Danik?
Yes.
Did you find anything out?
Sorry, a few things. One, that the Jarl is heading to Northmount Fortress with his men. They hope to retake it. They think that there's probably a contingent of orc left behind that they think they can handle.
That just occurred to me.
Yes.
2 variables that you guys might not have had before when you were trying to calculate where the city might have fallen,
Mhm.
where we landed and where Torga landed. We have that information.
That would definitely help us narrow it down.
Yeah.
Gimme.
I show her our map. That has our marking and Torga's marking.
Using that, she takes her map and much reduces the potential area.
Because it was like following a pretty linear path.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if the fort that he's hunting or that he's going to take back is on that path.
She will check. It is not.
Okay.
It's north. But if you did that, you would basically be like, here's where you are. You would go pretty much, west a little bit and then north. I know this looks like east to you. Deal with it. Whereas for the city, you would just want to go.
It's not as.
Yeah.
It's more straight.
Yeah.
This fort's like this way.
Fort's a little off.
Okay.
Lawfully force.
More like north by northwest.
Yes.
Okay. Well. You got a sled. Don't know if
Neat.
I told you. Thought that'd be easier for travel.
My thought now, though, is if it is just the cold that's doing this to her, there's
You can't take her out now. We'll have to wait till she wakes up and see. It's her body. She might know what to do in this scenario.
No, we can't exactly carry a portable heat source the whole way. I can't think of anything that would be safe.
But she might have a way of keeping herself warm. Because I'm pretty sure she's had to, at least she's part of our unit, so I'm pretty sure she's had to travel.
All I know is that she came from a desert culture.
We've never gone anywhere this cold.
True.
I remember her seeming sluggish a few nights, but I always just thought she was drunk.
She may have some creative solutions, but I don't know.
And I don't know much about. Well, I know a little bit, I guess.
Deserts are
Hot
often
plains, but not much
Deserts
about
often
desert
have very
folk.
cold nights.
nights. Yeah.
At which point, I believe snakes just sleep.
I mean, if that was the case, then it would be very easy to kill them.
That is true.
Yeah, they can move, but they are more sluggish at night.
Yeah, that's why I keep Rainbow in tight, and she's basically my close-up defense. That's basically all she'll ever do in this weather.
Well, as awkward as it might be, the only way to travel with her might be that someone will have to be on body heat today.
Aren't you always warm?
And approach.
The people at home don't know that you're blinking at me a lot.
There's a look that is being exchanged.
Yes.
So
That's what that
use
dead
your
silence
imagination
was.
about what the look is.
Philly won.
Not the Eagles.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Moving on.
Sports ball.
Who won the Puppy Bowl?
The Puppy
Oh,
Bowl.
the puppies
Superb
did.
owl. It was actually Tommy. I don't know if I saw that.
This is a good one.
I wonder if there's some kind of magical item we could get. Sorry, I'm yawning. I wonder if there's some kind of magical item we could get that,
Was
like,
he lugging around thousands of gold?
Far too
Yeah.
cold for that. We don't have any of our resources here.
well, no. But, like, I'm thinking,
wonder-
like, maybe we could.
I think we might have to leave her behind.
And yeah, I know, but I would not like to leave her in the city. Wink. Maybe we can get the kind people that took care of us to maybe take her in instead of leaving her with the.
Wasn't it 10 days south of here? She'd never survive that.
Yeah, I know, but I don't really want to leave her in the city with this jar.
Maybe your own.
You might try to
What?
find out who she is and what she can do and use her. I don't know.
So far,
He's already out.
none of them know. They just think that she's in a coma.
Yes, I'm just saying if someone find out, I'd rather she not be here.
Well, we just have to find somebody that we can trust.
At this moment of paranoia on Vanessa's part, I would like to look around and see if anybody's eavesdropping.
Currently, no.
You catch my drift?
You can make a perception check if you wish to be certain, but
I will make a perception check to try and be certain. I got 12.
don't look like.
I understand your concerns. I really would rather not have to leave someone behind, but if the environment will kill her, then I don't know what other choice we will have.
What is the dwarf person or the other person we found just a few minutes ago? What was her name again? The other person from the city that we found.
The person not from the
Danik?
city?
Is that the lady from the city? The
No,
one
Dan-
that we just found.
Oh, from
Last
your
week.
city? Yeah, Danik.
Yeah.
She's here
Yeah,
talking with
Maybe
you.
just have see if
Yeah,
Danny
hi.
wouldn't mind staying behind. Yes.
Right here.
Hi. What's up? That'd be my other suggestion.
Danik, what do you think? I haven't had much experience with it, but if we could find a potion of endure elements, do you think that would help her at all?
I mean, who knows?
Maybe. Yeah, it would even her out, at least. She might still need more warmth, but
Right. I just
then at least the cold wouldn't be draining her.
yeah.
Maybe there's something that she can do herself. I don't know. Would she a spellcaster? I'm sorry.
She's a dervish, she's a fighter.
Fighter. Oh.
She's a quick, dancy fighter.
Ooh, okay.
She's next fighter.
Fights with twin scimitars and relies on speed.
Okay.
And her
Well,
fighting style does look like she's dancing.
Well, that might also
Check out Sword Dancers at some point on YouTube. Beautiful to watch.
that might also help her too if she has the ability to stay at least moderately active. Any sort of motion will generate internal heat.
Probably help her, but until she wakes up, we don't know her exact circumstances. Until
We might want to look for a potion that might help her to be around the city a little bit.
I'm not sure if we'll be able to afford it until we can.
Well, aren't you kind of friendly
I am friendly. I try to be friendly.
with the tiefling lady?
What are you insinuating, Vanessa?
That she digs you?
I think she's just comfortable around familiarity.
So maybe she'd cut you a deal?
There was a lot of head waggling there, Vanessa.
Use some of your charms.
We
I'd
have
rather not.
the best thing I could think of is if we could get her, say, a potion of cold resistance. It would
How
make
long does those last, though?
not incredibly long.
Wait, she would need like a permanent magical item that would probably help her.
I mean, yes, but again,
We
No, I know,
don't
we
have
don't-
that kind of money.
I understand that.
I don't
I'm
think
just-
we have enough money for a potion.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
So
what are we doing?
It's currently like 7 o'clock at night. I assume we're eating some dinner.
What are we doing tomorrow?
yeah, we inflicting Plan B.
And the Jarl is leaving in the morning.
I was thinking light breakfast, followed by light lunch.
I was also hoping that after a few more hours, that
Yeah.
Ashna may be awake.
Question.
Enough that she could speak to us.
Alchemist here.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to craft a heat pack? Kind of like the stuff that hunters will crack and put in their boots.
You would have to find some components for it, but yeah, it would be possible.
I start scribbling some notes.
Okay.
Basically figuring out which components
We'll
we would need.
say I'll say make an alchemy check. So intelligence plus proficiency.
How do I make sodium acetate? That's a good question.
I would like to spend one of my 2 inspiration. Much better. 23.
You have a decent idea of how to produce one. The components wouldn't be too difficult to produce. Your concern would be how quickly they might burn out.
Yeah. This would have to be something that would be like an extended release sort of thing.
Which your basic idea for it could work, but it might be tricky to pull off just because you don't have a lot of resources available.
Mm-hmm. So
Doable,
I kind of just continue making notes somewhere in the chat.
You guys enjoy a decent meal. This will be. We'll go with 3 silver each. So it's a modest meal. It's actually they have it per day, but that includes drink and stuff like that.
How much did you say it was?
3 silver. 3 silver.
So
3 silver for a decent meal.
Should I mark that off of the Frecky's sheet too?
She's eating here.
I'm surprised that they let her.
No, I got free reign. Alright, sorry, she's upstairs. Never mind. She's not talking. As the meal kind of goes on,
And not if his concern is with her being around Alyssa too much.
Frecky will come downstairs after a bit and tell you, well, your friend is awake. She's a bit disoriented.
It's good. Well, her being awake is good.
Yes. She did not recognize me, so there was a bit of a panic. But she's okay.
Could we see her?
Strange woman naked in the bathtub? Yeah, I can see that.
I wasn't naked in a bathtub.
Well, she was naked in the bathtub. Sorry.
Yes, you can go see her.
I'm gonna go with.
I would recommend not ganging up on her. 'Cause
No, I think just the 2 of us. To be honest.
Check on her condition. Let her know that the others are here.
They get up to leave. I just grab Lainath's plate and pull it over to me and start finishing what he did.
Wow.
It's gonna be real sad when I come back and
if 2 of you go
meal's
upstairs.
gone.
My local snake expert thought up something like a good idea. Heat up stones with a fire and then put them in a thick canvas sack and put them underneath her cloak.
Yep. That'd be simple. That was going to be if you didn't roll very high. It's like that's the simple idea that would work.
Mm-hmm.
So you're shown into the bath. She is still in the tub, but she's kind of curled herself up and just kind of covering basic decency as she can afford, but not leaving the water. She is submerged to her neckline.
I'm averting my eyes from politeness.
Rainbow's like, yeah, I want again.
Ashna,
I apologize for the difficulties I may have caused.
no need to apologize. We still aren't certain what put us all in this circumstance. Just glad you're awake.
You can't see it, but she nodded. That you're averting your eyes, but she's always been very quiet.
So, if you don't mind me asking,
I do.
lovely weather we're having. It's very snowy, and
We are trying to figure out a way to help you travel. Do you have any insight as to what we may be able to do for you?
I'm afraid not. I never imagined going to a place like this.
I don't think any of us did.
we fell from the ship as well.
Yes, we can tell you that we've fallen. That
Is
My
the city destroyed?
We have
we
no clue.
haven't found it yet.
That is one of our.
I woke up with Vanessa and Silas and Lynn. Danik is here as well. And we have found Torga's remains. That is all we know. The city struck across the sky, blue fire, and we believe we know where it may have landed. We have yet to make it there.
We're.
Silas thinks you might have come up with some way to try to help keep you warm in such harsh climate. And he's still working out the kinks.
Of course.
But as of resources are very limited here.
We aren't entirely sure if we're going to be able to string it together. But we will try. I imagine this is not a very comfortable scenario for you.
It doesn't matter.
I'm assuming that you definitely need a lot of warmth when taking it.
You assume correctly.
Well, it is that she's kind of in that state where people are in when hypothermia just saps your will to do anything. You don't feel cold or anything, or
It's terrible. Which is the next question. How are you feeling?
My body is sluggish. My mind is much the same.
Well,
I
anything.
fear I would be a detriment if I tried anything.
Anything that you could possibly tell us about you that we could maybe have a way to get you out of the tub so that way you could be about.
I know you mean the best, but the less you know about me, the better.
I don't know how long that will be viable, but for now that's enough. If we can't think of some way to get you travel capable, we'll probably ask Danik to stay with you here. And we will send what we can back, depending on what we find when we arrive at our destination.
At least maybe we could get her to
As you
a
say,
room.
sir.
So yeah, once we can maybe get her to a room and find a way to keep that heated. That way she doesn't have
I
to be
have my mask?
Of course.
She will eagerly put that back on her face.
I handed it to you. So.
I
Yeah.
gestured
I
for you.
forgot.
I handed you.
I
'cause
forgot
I'm like,
you're
I
like-
don't.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm the only one. It's just like, I've seen boobies before, you know.
She wraps her face. And yeah, her face also does have some of the more scale. Very similar to how Alyssa had kind of the scales around like the edges of her hairline. She has that. Also in the corner of her eye, her lower lip.
Does the scales look very similar to her?
To
Alyssa's?
No. Alyssa's were a single color and a very fine, singular like pattern to them.
Mm-hmm.
Hers, and also not like they weren't rigid, but they were definitely more akin to like the plated scales of a dragon. Whereas her scales are finer, smoother, multicolored, and more snake-like.
Yeah, and it's really bothering me that I can't place.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm thinking to myself, like, I feel like I've seen this before, but I just can't get,
I'm curious.
I discovered that apparently what she was in was a state of forced permutation.
Mm-hmm.
And when you wake a reptile up from that, they're typically very hungry and horny. According to my snake expert friend.
Yes, there are differences in
And I'm
this.
like, we did not know enough about reptiles to make that an element.
I actually looked it up.
Okay.
There are differences
you have a
between.
snake friend? Like,
Yes.
really?
I know like
How does that
three
surprise you?
No, it's
herpetologists.
It's Jessica.
No, actually, it's Leo's girlfriend Tara.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were. Never mind.
But I could have also talked to Jessica, who is also a herpetologist.
I also have a couple cousins
You have too many snake people.
and my uncle, who's a
Jeez.
veterinarian.
I'm just
and,
not making good friends, evidently, because I don't have that kind
and
of
the-
circle.
and the
No, I mean
internet.
to have that information.
Excuse me.
No, I mean like to them to know enough
It's
knowledge about
called-
things.
Wikipedia as well.
Yeah. Wikipedia.
Oh,
Yeah.
like part of me wanted to like go out and like slam the door.
It's cool though, Shelby.
I know that's why I didn't
So,
do it. I just wanted to do it
Anyway,
for
that
effect.
was why we were separated.
I mean, different types of friends.
And I'm like, yep, that's just not gonna be covered on screen.
but that was going to be her next question. Is food.
Yes. We can bring her food.
Yeah, I just the sooner we can.
The
find-
other thing, for reasons that you guys do not know yet, that isn't a problem.
Okay.
But yeah, the sooner we can figure out how
I
to.
missed something.
The other thing, other than
Oh.
She is. They are
Okay.
hungry and horny. She is one of those things. The other is not an issue.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd like to try to maybe see if we can't set up a room.
I think that's what this is, right?
This is a bathing room.
This is
Oh,
a
okay.
bathing room. I want to get her out of here as soon as possible because that's just
Yeah.
going to draw attention while she's living in a tub.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of hub bobbing.
Well, you're the one who knows.
I will be able to survive once I have raised my temperature a bit more.
Yeah, I just don't want to draw
If
attention
I
to
have a
you.
room here, I can make a heat shelter near a hearth.
Alright.
So
I
That's
forget
what- that's what
they're
we should
called,
look
those
for.
metal pans that
a
you
place that
specifically,
has
like,
a
load up with
hearth in the
coals
room,
and
Yeah.
slide
that's
under the
probably
bed.
not very
What the fuck
common.
are those things called?
And then probably figuring out
you
a
know what I'm
way
talking
to
about, right?
Yeah.
afford the
Yeah,
room.
we just get her a
permanently
bunch
for
of
while.
those, like way more than are necessary.
I'm just telling you what I
Right.
think the game plan should be, and
Yeah.
then just to try to get her the supplies she needs. As we're leaving the room,
Yeah.
obviously. We're having this conversation because I don't want her to think it's a bother.
Frege will come downstairs. Well, she's downstairs so she can eat. And you guys can return downstairs.
Your food's gone.
So
Yep.
it's yours.
What happened,
Fucking hungry.
what happened to
Leave
my
me alone.
meal?
They just came and took it. I told them to leave it, but they're like, "You're not here." Taking it back to them.
You can roll deception if you want to.
I got a 9 on that.
Is this insight?
It'd be insight versus her deception.
My deception's garbage.
What
So
was it?
my it's a 0, so my passive would be a 10. So you
No, you can roll it.
Fuck it.
You might roll high because we both got low.
I actually also rolled a 9.
I got an 8.
Which is a clash. You don't know.
I know nothing.
So yeah, two of you, you can't really tell. She might be telling the truth. She might also be lying. It's kind of just right in the middle there.
Hey, Friggy. What happened to my food?
I thought you said she just came downstairs.
Yeah, she came down.
She came down to get us.
Right.
And
She
I
came down.
assume she ate.
She stayed. You're right.
Oh.
You're right. What? Oh, sorry. I was thinking. She wasn't paying attention. I rolled a 2.
Oh yeah, I wasn't.
Difficulty 5.
I wasn't in the room. Was I paying attention? I don't.
What's your passive perception minus 5?
Passive perception -5. Would be a 10.
Oh yeah, she ate it.
What happened to the food?
I
What?
don't know why I'm not surprised.
It's not
But
like
I
we
wanted
can't
to
get
guess.
more.
Yeah.
We're having current issues trying to continue our mission because we are low on resources.
Then just pay for
Eating
the
more
food that you
food
ate.
would cost more resources.
She ate both of ours.
It would have been cool about having fine. So I'll buy them another plate of food. To
I'm an
share,
excellent
share
mediator.
to share between them because they had some of it already. So
Just 1 silver.
okay.
Since, again, I charge you kind of for a full day meal, so this is just.
Watch the food. I'm going to go try to get it room arranged for Ashna.
Easily done.
One with a
One with a
Fireplace, basically.
fireplace, yeah.
Yeah.
a hearth.
So easily done. And they'll just be coming out of just daily expenses. Okay.
Let's see what food.
So what is, Danik would ask, what is the plan?
Well, what did you come up with? And is it affordable?
To heat.
I would still have to try it to know how long it will even function.
Well,
I'm assuming, unless you can give me some more details.
That would be, you'd need the test.
There's testing that needs to be done,
do you know how
and
long that would
resources that
take?
need to be acquired. How much would it cost me to acquire the resources, do you think?
Which thing are you wanting to do?
Well, the heat stone thing is good for short term, good for keeping her warm while we're in camp.
Yeah.
Overnight, that sort of thing. In fact, whoever wakes up for watch would probably need to change the stones. I'm assuming.
And she's staying in a hotel, so
but for-
basically be on.
Well, this is
the
trying
bed.
to get her able to travel.
Yeah. But the alchemical heat pack thing, which hopefully would last for like the day for each pack, would be like 15 hours or whatever. It's still theoretical. At least I'm assuming.
It's nothing that you just have. You had to come up
I'm
with it.
thinking we're gonna have to leave her here until we can-
The two plans were either see if your thing would work, and if it isn't viable or guaranteed, then to have you watch over her until we can actually get to the site and see what remains.
If that's the case, I can also keep watch on this little princess of yours. See what I can find there, if anything changes.
It would be good to put like a heavy blanket over the windows to like block out some of the cold air. I'm thinking any place that could possibly, and then maybe putting a towel under the door or something heavy to keep more heat in. I think we could probably do that if we're not doing anything tomorrow. It depends on what our plans are.
Leaving was what I thought.
Yeah. I think we're-
So, well, we should probably do that tonight then, to try to get the room hot now, and then have Danik, is that right?
Yeah.
Have Danik just keep the fire going as much as she possibly can until, she starts to get, like, tired. To try to keep the room warm, and then maybe we can get her up there tonight. It'd be nice.
How far away are we from where we suspect the crash site would be?
Now that you actually have a ranger who basically has the ability, the natural explorer ability for Arctic terrain, you're probably only 2 days away.
Okay.
I actually.
I will say with a fast pace, you're 2 days away.
Yeah, which we can do really easily now. And we
I
won't.
was,
And we don't. I think it says we can't get lost unless
Yeah.
it's done by magic.
I was
Cannot get
actually
lost by
wondering if
magic.
maybe
You are
we
not
could,
hindered by difficult terrain.
What was that?
I was actually wondering if maybe we could ask the sisters for a favor,
What sort of favor?
having their dragon friend maybe do a fly over the area to see if it can see anything from the
The dragon
the
is
air.
still a child.
That's
But-
maybe it would get way too tired.
How much would it cost for really heavy blankets?
Not much.
I
Okay.
mean, they're really heavy blankets in the room. I'm assuming.
No,
it's
I'm
a
talking about
winter
the
and
hang up over the window for insulation.
Take some
You
more
could-
blankets.
Yeah, you could just ask for blankets, says Danik. Just for comfort. This is an inn.
That's true.
And it's in the Arctic, so I'm sure blankets are plenty.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well,
Don't worry about that.
then that's what
And
we'll plan to do.
I'll take care of her.
Thank you.
I think I have a few ideas.
If not, I gave you some good ones.
Yes.
No,
Yes, those were very helpful.
I mean,
both of you.
I'm trying to think what I would do for my snake.
I will
So
let you know that she is probably upset at this
I
entire
doubt that.
circumstance. Really.
I feel like she feels vulnerable. I mean, she kind of
Yeah.
let us know things about her that she didn't want to know.
Might know a few things I don't know, I should say.
Are they things you've heard from her? Or
No, they're
speculation?
things I read. It's what I do.
You have figured something out about her.
Yes.
You know what she is.
Yes.
I would die. I'm dying to know. Because I feel like I know what it is, but
I
it's
would
just
like to know, but I would like her to be the one to tell me.
that's
Here's-
you.
Here's the question, Jack. You're a tactician.
Does what she has put us at risk?
Possibly.
To know what
Does
she-
what she has put us at risk any more than what several of us are? The oddities among us.
Well, that's a possibility.
Even up here, we're far away.
Up
from
here,
what-
no. I'm just saying in general.
I told her I would like to talk about it more later once we're all safe. And have more of the situation figured out. Oh, that's not up to me.
Oh no!
There's a,
I'm looking at you. We're gonna
There's-
need a private.
Derek's looking at your commander.
We need a private conversation.
there's a difference between curiosity, Vanessa, and necessity. If it's something that puts us in danger, then yes, we should know. Otherwise, she has her right to her privacy.
And if it's right now not a danger, considering our circumstance,
I'm
then I'm thinking
I'm
if
with
I'm
Lainath.
leaning towards privacy.
The question
at the
is-
moment.
Do you see it becoming an issue in the foreseeable future?
I'm not sure. It's very complicated, from what I can figure out, from what I can reason at least.
I can relate to that. And I
There are
think
two
that we
things are
should-
gonna happen. I'm either gonna try to figure it out on my own, or someone's gonna tell me. But I'm gonna figure it out. I'm just telling you that right now.
That's is insanely curious.
I am really curious.
I'm
There's
curious too, but it's also a privacy thing. We've
But-
all been allowed our privacy based on our heritage. Why should she be any different until her heritage does put us in danger? And we've already discerned that right now, that isn't the case.
There's just an ongoing thing where Lynn's just going to continually Gibbs slap Vanessa in the back of the head for
No. No.
I mean, Paul did it to Roscoe.
Yeah, with a stick.
Ugh.
I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna hit you with these hands.
Yeah, have you seen these? Jesus.
You're not catching these hands.
There's another place that Vanessa would love to visit.
What's that?
It's a thing that that Sora was very Sora was very much excited to go back to one day when she
Oh,
became
the library.
Mm-hmm.
Because she became immortal, so she
And
could
I'm
go back to the
wondering
library.
if that's not where Saro is. I've always suspected that's where she is.
I'm sure she's gone there before.
No, I mean like she's missing, if I'm not
So,
mistaken. Or we
yes.
don't know where she
She
is.
went to close up some rifts and has not been.
Yeah, she has been
returned
trying to seal the connection between the abyss and
So-
The only person who knows is Shelby.
The
No.
only person who knows is Josh.
Oh, Josh.
Yeah.
They aren't our characters anymore.
Yeah, they're
Aw.
They're
NPCs now.
NPCs now. I don't know.
I gave them an option of something their characters would know that your characters currently don't, and they chose to not know the secret.
Aw, because yeah, Daytek's dead,
So
but he lives on
Oh yeah.
through Vanessa.
So the question is, tomorrow, do we head out to chase the or do we head out to chase our city?
The city.
So
If they were in the same direction, I would say two birds, one stone, but the city is a higher priority.
ideally, we won't be in this area long enough for this conflict to make any real
We have
difference to us.
we have detailed enough maps to theoretically plan our route ahead of time, don't we?
yes.
I would like to do that.
Oh yeah, we need to get that map from
Oh right.
the map maker.
I have mine.
But yeah, but we paid for one, so you should keep
Oh,
that.
okay.
Well, I'm just
If
saying.
you keep yours, then
We can make marks on ours.
Yeah, and then maybe compare the two.
Alright.
Maybe we could sell your map with our marks that
and
we can add
worst
to it.
case scenario, if you never see us again, you still have a map.
Well,
But we should go get ours
yeah.
and
We'll go get ours.
cross-reference.
And like, we'll try to send word as much as we possibly can, obviously. Just check
Sure.
on the conditions of everything.
We
Sure,
will.
yeah.
We may want to come up with code words for certain things.
We have those.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry.
Don't forget the code words.
Well, I don't. I'm not
That's
always.
the whole point of the
So-
code words.
Not always a part of this.
So,
Vanessa takes extended vacations. And
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we go? We get our map. We plan our trip, our expected where we might be each day,
get
and
our
that way we can
sled all loaded up.
kind of like
you guys,
give that to.
for the sake of expediency and less fun, you guys prepare.
Yes.
You do.
But
what
that
you
way,
can
she
tonight.
might also know where we might be on any given day based on
Mhm.
what we've planned. I mean, things are going to
Privately
go off
with
of
her.
plan, but if she needs to find us at some point after the fact, she'll have a more informed area to search in.
So using the map to kind of pre-plan your route, I would let somebody. They have navigator's tools to roll that.
I don't think anybody has map.
If not, it's an intelligence roll.
Okay. I think I'll roll that.
She definitely did not inherit
No,
his
I have-
Apex intelligence. He was really smart.
The only
Well, I think
tools
he
I
was.
have
That
are
was one of his
thieves'
other
tools.
highest.
And this is
things.
just for plotting. Like
It was
you're-
his highest mental stat. I remember
actually
that. He was the smartest person.
does
in
the
the group.
map
group,
maker
yeah.
have a set of
She
navigator's
definitely
tools
did
that he
not
will let us
inherit
borrow or rent?
I mean, yes, but you're not proficient in them.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
You will have advantage because Danik will help you.
Okay.
Can we rent him? Hey, you have an hour?
Potentially,
You wanna come? You
ask
wanna
him to
come?
do that.
Sure. What's he charge for his time?
He really doesn't.
Okay, that's all the better.
Could you look at this map and tell us the best way to get from here to here?
Are we okay with him knowing our plans?
He already made the map for us.
That's true. Come on
I
over.
think he already knows that
As
we're going
you
there.
Go back to the library. and
Yeah, he's the one that told us
Show-
where stuff was.
Like basically, he has the map, and you're, what would be the best. Well, it would depend on if you seek to travel more in the mountain or across the snowfields.
We're looking for expediency, and we have a sled, so I'm going to say snowfield.
Snowfields. Yeah. All right. Puts you in a little bit more closeness with the orc.
That might work to our advantage if we need to scout.
So a little bit of work, and he kind of puts together a mostly straight path using landmarks that are shown to kind of guide your way, and then until it hits to an area that's still just kind of a circle of somewhere here, but given that it was a city,
You'll see it.
you should see it.
I'm kind of wondering if I should buy a second sled.
How much does one sled carry, approximately?
I'm assuming a
recall
few
cou-
hundred pounds.
Yeah.
Decent amount, yeah. Specifically,
Just in case a couple people get knocked the fuck out and we have to drive across the snowfield.
a sled can carry around 300 pounds.
Right?
So
A
that's
second sled wouldn't be a bad idea in case of injuries.
especially since they fold up in stow.
Yeah.
How much was it? 20 gold?
Yeah.
Do we have that?
I could potentially have that be kind of broke.
I'll split it with you because I already bought one out of pocket. I'll split the cost of the other one with you.
Okay, 10-10.
Frankie, I'm assuming, is staying here
You want
to
to write
help
that
with
on
the ceremony.
wanna write that on
Frankie's
your
staying
sheet?
Do
down.
the ceremony.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luckily, the ceremony won't happen for a while, and she does hope you come back.
Yes.
So before we took off, that night, I would ask Rainbow if she could to get some of her poison.
Oh, you're trying to milk her?
Yeah. But I always ask before.
She's a trained snake.
Huh?
So, roll a first roll animal handling, which you'll have advantage on because she's your pet. There were some long pauses in this music.
15.
15. So she's fine with it. And now make a poisoner's check, which is for you just intelligence because you're not proficient with poisoner's kit yet.
Oh, nope.
Oh,
Okay.
That sounds like a maybe.
10.
Sure you don't want to go the other way?
I believe this is easier.
Okay.
Can I scoot the table that way?
Yes.
not too late.
So the answer to my roll would be 10.
So you get a dose.
It's okay.
I wanna do it. I wanted to try to do it while it was warm because she's more active at first. when
You
it's
have
warm.
a dose of her poison.
Sweet.
It works just like her poison does.
Sweet. It's 2d4s or 2d4s.
2d4. They get a save for half.
Because what I'd like to is so we can lace all of me and his or all of our arrows and maybe some of your guys' blades to actually add some damage because my snake doesn't actually fight unless someone's close enough that she can.
Yeah. Thing is, it's actually tricky to apply poison to a blade.
Yeah, but I
Your
figured for me
arrows
and
would
him,
be a lot.
You're just
our arrows is mainly what I was thinking. But in case I get really good at
Mhm.
doing it, then eventually I could do their swords.
little known fact. Young snakes are more dangerous than old snakes.
Because they don't hold back.
Yeah, they will
They're
go all
more
their done.
likely to just.
Yeah.
Everything I got.
Everything I got, go.
So yeah, so basically, of all intents and purposes, the only time that Rainbow will attack is if someone is close to me. So if you don't want me to roll initiative for her until that happens, I can, or however you want to play it out. But that's basically all
Yeah.
she'll ever do until we get somewhere warm, and then things might change.
Sure.
But I didn't have any plans for her to be a fighting
In
snake.
the morning, get my cool Yeti stuff.
Yep.
How cool is it?
Pretty cool looking.
How warm is it?
It's very fucking warm.
Fucking dope.
Did you want to drink?
So,
Does anybody need beverages while I'm in the kitchen?
You know, maybe me, just to be on the safe side, and then if you're still thirsty, you can have some of mine.
Go
So
ahead.
just a regular cola?
Just go ahead and grab me a cola here. Just in case.
Colas.
I'm about halfway through that one. I don't even get up again. Something bumped that shouldn't have. It feels like.
Cola. Good beer. Cola. Any empties?
yes.
I will have an empty here in a minute. I'm pouring a drink, just so
No.
people know.
She had a Coke.
Oh, I thought she had tea.
Oh hell
It's
no!
empty. Who cares?
I'd be peeing a lot if that was tea. I chose cola because I didn't want to have to make Josh move every 15 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Cause
Sweet tea goes right through you.
oh yeah,
So, that evening, as everyone does their prep and goes to bed,
Yeah, after.
Danik would seek you out
Okay.
because you being Lainath, because, well, in short, she is very worried.
Okay. About?
Well,
Vanessa.
Ashna, honestly.
Okay, what about her? Has her condition worsened again? Or
No, it's
about what she is.
about that.
Okay. If you believe it to be a legitimate concern, go ahead and let me know.
She, if I'm right, and there's a chance I'm not, I'm admitting that right now, I think she may be Yanti.
I don't even know what that is. But I don't know.
In ancient, no, it's fine. Lainath probably doesn't know what that is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he knows what that is. That is a word.
A proto race, one of the first prime. Well, before humans decided they were the dominant race over everything, the Yanti were.
All right.
They're they mostly dwell now in the deserts and tropic regions for obvious reasons. They are are a slaver race and have notable aspirations of regaining their dominion. Ones that look human, from what I've read, are specifically bred that way to be spies.
You think she's a clone?
I think it's possible. Given the order, they would have very much interest in that, as they would see it as a threat.
Are you concerned for your own safety watching over her?
No, I feel that in this environment, she
She has nowhere to go.
She has nowhere to go. She would need me.
Okay.
And that's the other thing. Everything I've read about them, which admittedly isn't much, I haven't exactly made it my, thesis to study them, is that they are incapable of feeling emotion. They are calculating to an extreme. They don't feel as any of us would. So understanding her motivations is not impossible.
I will keep that in mind. Don't think that changes our current plan any.
No, I don't think it does either, but this definitely changes other things.
Probably in time. But yes, this will have to be addressed. But I think it's also above my head at this point. I probably have to let a superior know.
I don't like thinking like this. I actually like her.
Yes. She's very efficient. And she's done right by us. And I am the last person to judge based on what someone is.
That's why I didn't want to bring this up, but I don't see other options.
It will be Vanessa's mission to find out what she is. Anytime I get a chance to, she's gonna be looking at a book.
There's a part of me that almost just wants to tell you, and Vanessa would be like, I don't know what a Yachty is. And you're like, yeah.
Wait, Vanessa can read.
That's fine.
Damn.
Wow.
She's not a 3.0 barbarian.
Wow.
I'm intelligent. Well,
You have a higher intelligence than I do.
Anyway,
she's a detective.
sorry, thought you needed to know.
It's alright. You're probably not wrong.
Yeah, 10. Smarter than you.
Good night.
No. She's like, God damn it.
That's how smart you were.
And here to take the wheel.
Yeah, I built him to be probably
You guys have a comfortable evening. You sleep well.
get some actual rest.
Actual rest in comfortable beds. And dawn finds you guys way too soon.
Rainbow, you need some cool gear. I'm working on it.
Is there any leftover material from the Yeti?
There's miscellaneous scraps.
Could we sew some scraps together for her fucking snake?
Yes, you could.
Yes! Because really, all that's keeping that snake warm is me.
Did she just get a Yeti skin cloak for the snake?
Yes.
Kinda, yeah. Yeti skin sock.
Here you go.
Look, Rainbow, it's a step up.
Thank you for helping with the Ashma situation.
Do you? Awesome. Check this out, Rainbow.
Rainbow is just curled up in the sock. She's not even sticking her head out. She's like, this is fine.
Look, it's Yeti. It's gonna keep you warmer. Slide it on.
And yeah, here's a tunic and mantle.
All right, I'm gonna put Yeti snake outfit.
Yeti snake sock.
Yeti snake sock.
I have a tube stock right now, so I don't have to wrap that up because I might want to sell that tube stock one day.
I don't think you'll get much.
Maybe another snake in passing in the winter if we find one. Look, I have 2 snakes.
You turn into a melee weapon. Throw some rocks in there. There you go. Or some sweet Valencia
I was
oranges.
about to say some oranges. Put
Yeah.
some oranges in there.
Thanks.
So,
You won't leave a bruise and let know who's boss.
Okay, there you go.
it's made very apparent in the morning of the Jarl's departure It's not quite, a parade and fanfare, but
It's a parade and fanfare.
there's a good number of troops marching out. No, it's not. There's no no one's cheering or throwing rose petals. It is just like, there they go to fight. It's almost more like watching the Recon Corps in Attack on Titan. Like,
Oh man.
people know, a lot of them are probably gonna die.
Yeah, it's like you're stuck with this really complicated mixture of patriotism and dread.
This is more just dread.
More just dread.
Because this winter has been really rough.
Gotcha.
They're heading further north into Orc land. And even if, okay, most of the orcs have moved further north, if there's still orcs there, it's going to be a fight, and the orcs are the ones in a fortress.
Do you think that we should be concerned with making it very apparent we aren't going in the same direction?
People still come and go.
Okay. Cool. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't seem suspicious and leaving at the same time, going the same path, that kind of thing.
I assume we wait for them to leave, just
Because there's not any room for anybody
'Cause-
else.
massive amount of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they leave.
Alright, let's get on the road.
Okay.
I just realized I should be writing that stuff on my snakes sheet,
I,
and so I was making sure I spelled everything correctly.
I just started liking this place a little bit better now that
So.
that guy left.
Look,
God
Rainbow,
damn it.
you're a yeti.
Pretzels.
Oh, Rainbow's excited. She's a yeti now.
She is a very tubular yeti.
Yeah. For some reason, she ever needed to, she fell out or something. She's not gonna die immediately.
So,
Eventually, I'll get you some potion.
so you begin your trek.
But you need to help me find gold first. I'm just talking to her. You just need to help me find gold, and then I can get you a potion.
So, we're back to travel rules.
We are.
But we're gonna be better at it now.
What are your formations for your ranks?
I mean, I'm in front.
I'm assuming that we're both in front again.
Yeah. Forgot.
Only
Wait,
with
I
our
forget that
back pulling
you're
some
a
sleds
rogue.
full of
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, I'm a road
pull our
scout.
sleds.
Yeah,
Which
you're
is a lot like
scouting
being a ranger, just without
So-
any kind of magic.
Both of you, I'm assuming, are the ones guiding.
Or a pet.
Mhm.
And so you're navigating. Is there anyone on watching for ambushes? Is there anyone foraging?
I don't think we should have to worry about foraging. I think we stocked up on
Yeah.
rations pretty well before we left. At least I know I did. I bought up to 12.
Most of that eat.
So because we're heading into orc territory, how about I'll navigate and you can be on the lookout?
Okay.
Because you two have the best perception skills.
Yeah.
Well, this is also my new favorite terrain.
You still get the benefit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
was gonna
now-
say,
so-
how would your new favorite terrain benefit us the most?
She's gonna get a bonus to her passive perception.
Okay.
I remember that part.
Mm-hmm. It's my allies and I are not slowed by difficult terrain and we can't get lost except by magic.
Dope.
I'm also alert to danger even when doing something else.
So you could do 2 rolls. You can
Yeah.
navigate and look for danger.
So and I forge twice as much food.
Do we get any benefit for having planned our excursion with that map? Or is that just kind of a behind the screen?
When tracking, I also learn extra number sizes and times since passing.
Basically, only
So, yeah.
one of you needs to navigate to have advantage.
Okay.
So basically, I can do 2 things. So
So I'll navigate with advantage.
Mhm.
And then one of your things can be
Look for traps. Or look for dangers.
looking for dangers, and another one. I mean, if she dedicates both, can she have advantage on looking for danger? No. Okay. What were the other roles?
Technically, she's also forage while doing that.
Forage
Ooh.
or track.
I could forge. too.
Tracking would be like if you find something, figuring out what it is.
If
So-
if you think that you can forage while also looking for danger, go ahead, and then we just now know that she could also track something if we.
Yeah, if something pops
we
up that you
find
notice that I
Yeah.
don't see, I can change from foraging to tracking.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds great, because that could even happen midstream.
Mm-hmm. Because
And
And we're pulling sleds.
And are you going at the fast, normal, or slow pace? It's 2 days if you do fast.
What's normal?
You would be just a little bit short. You would be at 24 miles instead of 30.
If we go at normal and then spend some extra time, like
We did that last time. Like,
we did that
pushed-
last time, and I
could always
almost always suck at the subsequent rolls.
Mhm.
But we don't have to make a subsequent roll if we go fast. That
No.
just makes our travel more obvious.
It makes it more obvious, and it makes navigation a little harder.
So why don't we go fast to start off with until we get deeper into orc territory,
Mhm.
and then we'll slow down, and if we can push for extra time.
That sounds good to me.
So,
So day one is fast.
day one.
So I'm pulling my 7. I'm doing so already on your sled.
Let's do the. Let's do foraging. What is your first off? What is your passive perception -5?
9.
Okay.
That's not with adding anything to it. Because I don't. It doesn't say anything in my
Wait, what?
my things about I get anything advantage on that.
Which
It
are
just says I
passive?
get a bonus for I double my bonus for intelligence and wisdom checks, but it doesn't say anything about that I get a plus whatever for passive.
Perception is a wisdom check, so
Yeah.
Well, I guess it is.
you would double your bonus and then figure it's passive.
Okay, so that my bonus for wisdom would be a +2,
So double this plus 4.
4, and then you said to -5.
5.
So I have a
So -1 to whatever your passive perception is.
so
13.
then-
So 13 for this. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to make sure I get that.
Now
all
go ahead
written
and
down.
roll survival.
It's 18 unless you tell me to subtract something. Nine.
You don't find any foraging food.
Not surprising, but it's worth looking.
And let's see how you navigate. You're at -5,
But with advantage.
but with advantage.
Let's see, and this is survival. $17.
Okay.
That basically makes it a bear roll because I have a 5 in my skill.
You push forward, following the map, realizing that you have technically entered orc territory within 2 hours
Damn.
because they have pushed that far.
Hopefully, because they've retreated back, we've got a little bit of safety.
You see signs of them, but you encounter no orc.
I will point that out to Lainath and say, Lainath, it's your call when we need to slow down. I'll keep you aware.
The first day passes without any further incident.
They did say that they had been retreating. So
Yeah, and also
we might be in the clear for the time being. This might be
May
advantageous
I-
for us to.
Track some of their footprints to see which direction they went.
and also if the Jarl is trying to take
You will
back
be at
that fort,
disadvantage, but yes.
and there was any intel,
You're disadvantaged
if
'cause
the
you were
orc
doing
had
other
any
things,
intel,
right?
they might have pulled some people to go and help defend it as well.
Oh, unnatural 20.
In fact, that might have made this the best time to do this if the orc are going to be
Oh, okay.
preoccupied.
This is survival. Oh no, yeah, survival.
Mhm.
And orcs are my favorite,
Your
Favorite
favorite enemy.
so I get I forget what that is.
Should have been an advantage.
I get advantage, so it would have canceled it out.
So
So
it would have been the natural.
natural 20. I forgot that it cancels it out now.
Oh yeah, these are definitely orc. They are led by several orog, which are this like stronger orc. They are moving in large groups. You can definitely tell that each group that you're seeing is at minimum 20 members. And they are all marching in pretty good coordination. Much more organized than most orc pack. As this is feeling less like a pack and more like a military.
We should make notes of that on our map, I think. Can you tell us how old that information is?
You are guessing
Natural 20. Josh will be able to tell me whatever I want to know.
Like how many?
this one is about 3 days old.
In which direction was it going?
It's heading further north.
Same way we're going.
Same way we're going. Ooh, I wonder if he's
And
not
they're not-
intrigued.
Only orc. You actually recognize the footprints of ogres. With the
Okay.
two
Well, I
ogres.
rolled an 18 as my second roll, so if you wanted me to take a disadvantage on other
No,
things.
you're just noticing like, okay, this isn't just orc.
Yeah, and if they're heading in the same direction we are, that the main orc could be thinking,
Yeah, that's what we're worried about.
Yeah, and real quick, not real quick, but since we're camping down, we're setting up camp so we can converse. Can you tell how fast they were theoretically moving? I.e., if we know their trajectory and speed, and
They're going in a run.
and the fact that they left 3 days ago.
they're running.
They got there.
Not like a sprint.
But yeah, but they're
They're running
at
fast
the
pace.
fast
They're
pace
doing
march.
They're doing a job.
So wherever they're going, they're probably already there.
That makes me.
Unless it was very far away.
Also, it would be. Can they keep that kind of speed up?
Orcs,
I mean,
man.
God damn.
That makes me.
Well,
A little
then
bit
we might be able
confused.
to do another fast travel, because if we can estimate this was 3 days old and they're moving at fast pace, we could probably not like necessarily catch up, but get close. That'd be up to the fearless leader.
Oh god, that would also explain why we didn't face anything on our way here. If an orc horde had just moved through here, there would not be any threats.
Nope.
They would
And
have
that
been
could be
wiped
why
out.
why I didn't find anything to eat when I foraged.
Yeah. Because they would have cleared that.
Throughout the
Which-
night,
Makes me
you
more
have a
curious.
nice serenade of warg howls that do sound off in the distance. Too far away to be obvious threats, but enough to kind of.
You were gonna say
Lainath,
something, Len.
Just a thought. Do you think that the orc that we encountered a couple of days in might have been trying to go gather some reinforcements from some more distant tribes, trying to get them to come up here?
I don't know. They were much less organized than these groups
Well,
seem to be.
my only
I'm wondering
thought
if
that
they
is
might
that
have
they're-
belonged to a tribe that didn't want to fall in line with this thousand
and
spear.
that's also possible too. It just seems unusual to for them to be traveling the opposite direction.
Unless that was a messenger crew that was informing the other tribes. I mean,
Yeah,
they would
that's-
have to get
that's
information
That's
somehow.
my thought.
Because it wasn't a very large force that we fought.
Mm-mm. Oh, it might have been a scouting band, or messengers, or
Yeah.
a splinter, or
Did we
They-
searched their bodies?
they might not have liked
I mean,
the
Did
military
we find any writs
life
or
and just
anything
wanted to
like
keep
that on them?
doing
No.
what they did.
But orcs don't deal in that.
They don't. Okay.
Like, they're not illiterate necessarily. A lot of them are, but most just they prefer.
Kind of like how Vikings never kept maps.
They speak. They send someone to talk. So, you guys rest throughout the night. I won't worry about watch. Nothing assails you. Dawn is bleak as the snowy waste stretches before you, as you've chosen the snowfields, which are just.
But that means we should see anything coming.
And we don't see anything, do we?
So
Not currently.
are we doing fast travel?
Yes.
Another day of fast travel, and you should reach the border of where it's like, okay, it could be anywhere around here, so you'll probably start seeing signs.
Especially if it's still as barren as this wasteland is.
So,
If they're moving at the pace you say they're moving at, I think we can continue ours.
That's what I would think.
are you doing the same as yesterday?
You guys want me to forage still?
I would
Or
say
do you want me to track
actually, if there's
and-
tracks, just
Keep on the tracks.
do the
Yeah,
tracks.
And let us know if anything
Okay.
changes.
Well, I can also do one other thing.
No tracks and watch.
Yeah,
Oh, tracks and watch.
Yeah.
Tracks
Okay,
and watch for
so
danger.
that's what I'm going to
Track
track and
watch.
watch.
Okay. So, for that, go ahead and make a tracking check. A survival.
Survival
And you
advantage.
also make your navigation check. Yes.
Everybody used a ration.
Everyone did use a ration. Assuming you boiled water and such for your water skins. Or boiled snow. for your
Natural
water
20.
skins. Okay.
22.
As you make your way past midday, you start seeing more blast marks, more spots where it looks like something fiery crashed out of the sky some time ago. Nothing like, there's no like debris or anything, it just looks like a fireball hit.
We should probably inspect those if they're not too far off of our course, because those might be people.
Yeah.
You can inspect.
Yes.
Some of them Some of them are, but they're far too burnt and now frozen to be recognizable. You don't find any more members of your unit.
Do we at least find badges? Of any
Find
kind?
some, not many.
Okay.
Because they've been too mangled and burnt.
We'll
And some of them look like they've been picked over.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense too.
Other places you find rubble. Just not like whole buildings, but just like a bit of stone or something that doesn't match the surrounding environment that you would recognize as part of the floating city, as it had that huge underbelly of rock.
We should make notes of that
Yeah.
on our map at each of those locations.
We'll keep a count of how many bodies we find.
Only a few hours after midday, off in the distance, you see the orc camp. And it is an army.
We can't cut through them.
I have to go around.
Assuming that we're
Or
like,
can we go under?
No.
no.
The ground's frozen.
I know. I just.
As it does look like they have set a camp, almost like a line around something. There's just, it stretches. When you first see it, it just looks like a little black line on the horizon, but as you get closer, you realize it is almost horizon to horizon of a just long, stretched out camp.
According to our map, which would be the better route to go around?
Can we go around? Okay.
I would like to look for an animal. See if I can't ask some animal friends
Okay, first off, if you go
for different routes.
east, it'll be a cliff, rock face that you could climb and go around. West, you're just making a huge path. But obviously rocks mean climbing, and the dangers therein. But it is quicker.
But yeah, I'd like to maybe see if we can't ask
Make a survival check.
an animal.
Find an animal.
Quicker and
You are
maybe
in your
easier to
favorite
avoid
terrain.
getting noticed. Because if this place is
So I get a
bleak
+5?
and desolate,
Or-
specks on the horizon
You get
mean
advantage.
something.
Advantage,
to people
that's
that
right.
watch them.
Advantage. I keep forgetting that it's advantage.
There's just as much of a
Huh.
chance that they've
Natural
spotted
20.
us. We
Okay,
only have
what
the
sort of
advantage
animal
of
are you
this
looking
being much
for?
larger than
And a
we are.
19. That's
Yeah.
cool. Natural 20. Okay, so let's see here. I would want something maybe like a fox or something like a fox.
Okay.
Like a winter fox.
I just want to take foxes.
Yeah, and because I'm thinking that they would be the stealthiest out of all the animals.
You find you can have your choice. You can either near the base of the cliff you can either find a fox den, or you could find some a snow owl nest.
Ooh, an owl might be, then a. So I'm gonna go with an owl.
There's an owl. It's up in a little kind of barren leafless tree.
You think we should try the cliff?
I think
Of those two options, the cliff's better.
yeah.
I do have, I still have pittons and rope to help with this.
What are you wanting to do?
I should have got,
I'm
a
wanting
climbing
to
kit
see if I
for
can't
everybody while we were in
communicate
town if we
with
had
that
the money.
animal, so
No,
I
those
would
are
need
like
to speak
25
with the animal.
gold. It's not much.
Yes, speak with animal will allow you to talk to it.
Okay.
I don't think everybody can have a flyer. Not the sleds and such.
I believe I have, but I'm not sure. If not, I have animal friendship.
You probably gotta get.
I have
Lisa.
animal friendship.
Okay.
So could I
Yeah, I'll
drink
be
my potion of animal
leaving in
friendship?
about
Sure.
5 or 10 minutes.
So I would like, because it allows me to speak with them, I think, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It gives you the spell animal friendship.
Which I need to look up.
Which basically just be like, hey, this thing is not going to murder
It
death.
convinces
kill you.
a beast that you mean it no harm. Choose a beast you see within range. It must be able to see and hear you. If the intelligence is 4 or higher, the spell fails because they're not an animal. It must succeed a wisdom saving throw or be charmed for the spell's duration.
Which is 24 hours, isn't it?
I just closed the book, but I think so. So I
Does
think
it-
this is how a lot of rangers have pets, or a lot of druids have pets. Is they're like, charm animal, you my pet for a day.
Yeah,
So it doesn't-
I'm gonna
Yes,
borrow this
24
owl.
hours.
Maybe
The
see if I
potion
can.
has a DC of 13.
Except that doesn't let you actually talk to the.
No, but that's what animal handling's for.
Okay.
So you focus on the owl,
This is used now.
and the snow owl looks at you. Does the owl thing that owls do.
It's cute.
That's it. Oh gosh. Oh, that fucking the freaky owl from Ocarina
And
of
now I'm
Time.
gonna roll out animal handling.
Which now you have advantage on.
So 8 was higher. 12. 12.
Is the owl, when you kind of like hold out your arm and kind of call to it, it will flutter down and land on your arm. You have an owl pet. For at least today.
Check me out.
Unless you do something bad to it.
No. So I'm gonna talk to him.
Okay. Can't actually communicate unless you have to speak with animal.
Yeah, I know. I need to speak with animal. I'm gonna talk to him anyways.
Okay. That's fine.
I'm gonna point to the orc.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm gonna be like, fly around. Avoid orc. Damn it! Why did I take speak to animal?
I don't know.
I chose animal friendship.
Because, I mean, being able to charm an animal and have it be your friend can still help even if you can't speak to it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just difficult to get scouting information from something you don't share a
Yeah.
language with.
Yeah, I know.
We got to work on our communication.
Yeah, we do. We need to communicate better. But I have an owl.
Oh, sorry.
Chair.
I didn't realize that I could not speak to him after. I thought I could charm him and then I could speak to him.
Oh,
how
high up is this cliff?
The cliff goes, cliff ridge goes up about 60 feet.
I'm gonna talk to my snake and see if my snake can talk to the.
You can't actually talk to your snake either. It's a pet.
Yeah, I guess. Well, maybe I could convey to it because it knows me.
It knows you, but this isn't Dr. Doolittle. It can't then
Well,
talk
no,
to
can I point to the orc and then go around? I mean, that's an obvious sign for.
Yes, the snake will die because of the
No, no, I don't want him to go. I want
Okay.
him to relate to the owl.
Because you can say this exact same thing to the owl. It's no
Yeah.
different.
The owl. The owl will just look at the snake like, "Oh, you're gonna feed me?"
Okay, I don't. I
You're
don't
gonna
play,
regret that owl.
I don't play
You see how
rangers in this
colorful that
manner.
snake is?
Doesn't know what that means.
That's
That means you're
sign
gonna
for
regret
don't,
that.
don't eat you.
Yes, it is, but those signs don't exist up here in the north.
Well, I didn't think this through, guys.
It's okay.
Hoot.
I think we're gonna try and scale the cliff.
Well, I was hoping that I could talk to him now. Find a way, safe way around there.
Right.
York.
First, I would like to check it out.
Okay.
Fly up to the top of the cliff and see
Okay.
if there's anything up there.
Fly up to the top. Please make a stealth check.
Muffin.
Are you disadvantaged?
Yes, because
I thought.
I'm wearing head armor. Okay, well, I either got a 7 or a 16, so I got a 7.
Okay. So you fly up to the top. As you see on the making their way up the cliff, there is a small group of orc and warg that are just kind of going. They've already climbed to the top, and now they're just kind of patrolling it.
Fly back down.
Okay.
Do I know approximately how many it works? Like, was it like a whole, like a 20
Make
unit?
a perception check.
And it's wargs too.
Mhm.
Perception 15.
Look like 5 orcs, maybe 2 wargs. I'll say you definitely saw there were 2 wargs.
2 wargs, about 5 wargs.
5 orcs.
Around that number. But there wasn't any big
Not really,
camps.
Okay.
There weren't any big camps like down here. It looks like they're just up here to keep an eye on things.
Yeah. They're patrolling a larger perimeter.
I'll fly back down. There's a few orc, about 5 of them I think. 2 wargs patrolling at the top of the cliff. No big camps though. We might be able to take them out, but I would also assume that they have warning horns. There's also a good chance that we engage them and they just tell the entire army something's up there.
That is also
Well, my plan failed, so.
probably true. Well, the
You are our resident orc expert.
Yes, but now I have an owl.
What are the odds that we could just communicate with them?
I'm gonna roll on that, but I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
So that would be knowledge, Josh.
How likely could we Johnson?
Knowledge, Josh.
17.
In general, it definitely depends on the orcs. These orcs have shown to be much more militaristic than most packs, which leads you to believe they're more organized.
Yeah.
Which means it's a higher possibility However, orcs are known for being raiders. They're known for their savagery. So it's you would say that there's a higher potential here than if you just kind of like saw a random orc pack and went like, "Hey, let's talk." But there's no way of knowing that there wouldn't be a risk.
Here's the question.
I think they're way too organized
Lainath, who
and too much of a risk if we talk to them.
I'm trying to figure out a way to get past them.
How long would it take them
That's not going
to get on some more on top
rile
of this
them up.
cliff?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I was trying to use
They
the
have some
now, but then I
station up there,
realized
but could we?
that I have nothing to speak with it.
Even if they sounded the alarm, what's the chance that we get away?
If they, sorry, say again.
Because I'm imagining they're on top, like the party that are on top of this cliff, and the rest of the orc are sort of down in
they're down in
the area below.
Yes.
If we all got up on top of the cliff, how much of a head start would we have if they decided to come after us?
Maybe a minute.
Okay.
And you would still be in like crossbow range.
That's true.
And they can run for a very long time.
That's
Orcs
true.
are known for their endurance.
I think actually, as much as I sort of like the cliff plan to start, I think it might be better for us to try to go around. Rest up now, wait for nightfall, and then try to make our way.
If I just fly up into the sky, how likely am I to get spotted by the orc camp?
Fairly, you'd be a black splotch against a white background.
How likely are they to like realize I'm not like a bird or something from this distance?
From a distance, you're guessing that they probably wouldn't care too much unless they've got someone with like a spyglass.
Okay. I'm thinking of just flying up as high as that's reasonable to see how far it goes.
Yeah, or maybe also from that height you might also be able to see the because we're in that city-ish range. Maybe you can see something on the horizon past this
wall of orcs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'll fly up.
Okay. So you fly up. It's enough cloud cover that it's actually giving you some decent concealment. It's still cold as heck, especially the higher you get.
Yeah. That cross breeze.
Let's make a con save.
Yeti.
Yeti.
Yeti. Come on, Yeti.
I'll give you advantage on the con save because of your Yeti belt.
15, which gives me a 16.
16. So you don't take any damage from it. It's just very cold. Beyond the camp looks like it stretches probably a good 3 miles, but it's not a very thick camp. It's basically just a row. It's a line of tents and
they're holding a line.
encampments. As on the other side of them is a crater.
Yeah.
The crater has patches, spots where there's this blue radiant flame just kind of sputtering. It's kind of at random.
I think that's what I need to get.
And you can see at the epicenter of the crater, there's nothing. The crater itself is empty.
How big is this crater? This city-sized crater?
The crater itself looks a good, probably third of a mile in radius.
I'm trying to remember, is that smaller than
The city was about a mile in diameter.
Okay.
In total, but that had a lot of like thin space to it.
Right. Do you convey what
As you
saw?
are flying back down, make a perception check.
I got 4.
Okay. So while you are in the sky, and the rest of you are on the ground, you find there's this kind of moment of stillness, so you're waiting for Lainath to come back down. The Kind of the hairs on the back of Vanessa's neck just start kind of standing on end. As almost seeming to appear out of maybe the mists or snows themselves in these small little banks. Winter concealment cloaks are just tossed aside. And orcs surround you. Spears held ready. As 9 orc have surrounded your little party.
Grak Mikan.
Which I can speak. Or
Drop your weapon.
oh man,
That's unusual for her.
yeah. Should we pause here?
Yes, we will take a very quick pause here. So
So that Silas can come
So
back.
Silas can return, and we'll see what happens.
I'm excited.
See, another waiting, but it's not gonna be that long of a wait.
I was gonna say for the audience, it's like resume, but for us, who knows? So you could
Oh,
be right back.
wait, 1 sec.